Peace, power. What's good? You are now tapped in to the theDopeOnes podcast, part of the Be Heard podcast platform. I am Don Dope, creator of theDopeOnes, and we back, man. This is actually part 2 of episode 7. Didn't give you guys an intro in part 1. That was actually an IG live that I did with my guy Earl Got Soul, and this is the follow-up to that interview. This actually was really special because it's my first panel, and I brought my brother visualist Jamal Clark and a good friend of the show, Crown Harris. And we talking about Nas's album. We're talking about King's Disease and how dope we think it is, and what a pleasant surprise it was to hear such a solid project from one of the most beloved artists in the history of rap music. So here it is, part 2, episode 7, King's Disease panel. Check it out.
Peace. Power.
This is the theDopeOnes podcast. theDopeOnes. theDopeOnes.
I just want to welcome everybody on the theDopeOnes podcast. This is a first. This is a panel discussion. We here to talk about the illustrious Nasir Jones's new drop today. I think it's been widely hailed as, a pretty significant release, and I think it's something that we all were looking for from Nas. Like just a really solid album that we wanted to hear from him. I think me personally, just being a lifelong Nas fan, I wouldn't say jaded by his last couple releases, but I didn't have any expectations for this one, you know what I mean? He grabbed Hit Boy, so I wasn't sure how that was going to work. Even though I think it's dope, and I respect Hit Boy as a producer, I think he's dope. I think since Niggas in Paris, I think he's been pretty consistent, but I just wasn't sure if it was, the right fit, for Nas. But I read something that Charlemagne said, and he was like, a new producer, up-and-coming producer, working with a legacy artist, like Hit Boy grew up on Nas. So he kind of knew how to curate something that would resonate in this era, but stay true to who Nas was. He didn't have to go too far to be commercial, but still be relevant, for the simple fact that he grabbed Hit Boy, you know what I mean? So I love the album, you know what I'm saying? I think it's a really solid effort. I think it's Grammy worthy, honestly, the more I listen to it. I think it's really solid, man. What are your thoughts, visualists? You go first, man. Let me know what you think.
I loved it, man. I had to. It's like a coming of times, you know what I mean? I had to wait till 12 for it to play on the joint. So I hopped in the car and listened to it, and just drove until it was over, and it was on shuffle. But listen to it all the way through. I don't expect nothing less from Nas, basically. I think Nas is one of the artists that, basically grew with the times, and he's showing that. He showed it on his album. He king status. He beyond king status to a lot of us.
Absolutely.
But for him to have an album and have collabs with people or artists of this generation, and still have the album sound seamless, just nice, you just listen to it straight through, and then refer to that was, for me, it was that was so and so on the track, and the content, what he's talking about, we already know that he's a lyrical, poetical genius. And, he just showed it to us again, but he did this time around. The timing was right. It was just more, the vibes, everything aligned for him, I feel like, and it was needed, because dropping now with everything that's going on, it's something to zone out on and talk about amongst your friends and other music people that appreciate music, you know what I mean, as well as hip hop, and it put me in a good mood. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think it sounded like he got serious on it, but at the same time, it sounded like he having fun at the same time.
Yeah, I agree.
And he dropping some jewels on there for everybody, for every generation. You know what I mean? Because he's deep in the game now. He don't look like it, but he is. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just think it's a great album. I don't see any flaws. For him to bring in a young producer that you know, this young. I wasn't that familiar with him. Hit Boy. I wasn't that familiar with him until you know, the Nipsey era. I wasn't that familiar with Hit Boy. But for Nas to do a whole album with him, that shows like maturity, passion, and that he's for the culture and he's for the growing of the culture and for it going forward. You know, going forward with it instead of, you know, always reverting backwards. He ain't talking about, you know, nonsense. He's talking about elevating the current generation, checking the older generation, and like motivating the younger generation all at the same time.
Nah, I agree with you, bro. And I think that's a good point you make about like trying to go back, because that's what, you know, his diehard fans kind of want him to do. Like, I want him to make that, you know, premiere collab. You know what I'm saying? But Crown, let me get your thoughts, bro. What you think about the album, bro?
Man, let's just say this, man. It's a conversation piece. First and foremost, like let's applaud Nas for giving us a conversation piece. You know what I'm saying? To see people talk about an album like this, and you know what's dope about it? It feel independent.
Wow.
Like it don't feel hella promoted. It felt good, like you found it on your own and you wanted to go tell somebody.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And to me, that made it real special, man. Hit Boy's a genius. The bag just went up. Hit Boy's a genius, dog. Like, for sure. Like,
definitely.
A super genius. Especially to see that range. You know what I'm saying? What I loved about it was the range and the collabs, man. Like, you put a little Dirk on the record with Nas. Right. Like that's crazy, and it worked. It worked. You figured out something that everybody else can't figure out. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is what we wanted Kanye to do. This is what we thought the Kanye album was gonna be.
Yeah.
And Hit Boy just made a power move. So I love it, man. I'm honored to be able to see it, dog. Like, that's like seeing Ali in the ring for the third time. You know?
That's, bro. No, that's what's up. And like, it's funny too, because just about like the whole Hit Boy collab thing, like, I think it is very genius his approach to this project. Because again, I didn't know like how Lil Durk and Nas going, you know what I mean, mesh on a track, but it definitely worked. You know what I mean? But I will say I did like the Nasir album. I know a lot of people trashed it, but I thought it was dope. But I don't think it's fucking with this though. The more
I like Nasir. I mean, I think the thing I was thinking about with Nas, like, to me, I hear Ye in this album.
Yeah,
I hear the influence of Kanye. You see what I'm saying? I can hear the samples, the way they chop. It's like Kobe against Jordan. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, I'm coming next. So I felt like when I heard Hit Boy do it, that's why I say this is what I thought, because Kanye would go this route in prime Kanye. Like 07, it would be this. You see what I'm saying? But we got it a little late. But I love Nasir as well. I thought Nasir was classic. My favorite record is the one with the Slick Rick sample. That's my shit.
Yeah. Top shot shit.
Yeah.
E, what do you feel, bro? How you feel about this release, man?
All right, so I'm gonna pass on my thoughts on Nasir. Here's my thing with Nas, man. Nas is always going to be. I don't think he's. I know people do rankings and all that stuff. I don't rank him. He's up there at the point. There is no place that you could put him because he transcends hip hop. He is the definition of hip hop to the core. You know, we're talking about a guy that's almost 50 now, and sounds like he's getting better. when he's locked in. You know what I'm saying? I think that when we saw the precursor to this kind of was Hov with 444, where he locked in with no ID and only no ID. And it was like when you have these moments where a producer tailor makes things for you, at that age, it allows you to not worry about the politics, because there wasn't really much promotion with 444 either, to kind of touch on what Crown was saying earlier about there wasn't a promotional piece of Standard Third. It's just kind of like you had to go find it. In the same realm, we got that here. I had faith in Nas for this, I'm not going to lie, because I liked how Ultra Black sounded, because it didn't sound like he was chasing anything of today. It sounded like he was in his pocket, and he wasn't downing anybody. He was championing a lot. You know what I'm saying? And when the older, with these older acts, what happens, let me not say older, these seasoned veterans, a lot of times.
Legacy artists.
Legacy artists, for sure. Exactly. These legacy artists. What happens a lot of time is there's a separation even, right? Because everybody doesn't become a legacy artist. Some guys just become the old nigga on the stoop that's just mad. And when you embrace the youth, you get the Dirt collabs, you get the Anderson .Paak collabs. What I could expect the Anderson .Paak and Nas collab, because
Anderson is nice.
Yeah. But even still, he got real bars out of Big Sean. And you know what I'm saying? Like, for real, that's something to get something not so animated out of Sean, but Sean was just rapping. But even to take it to further than that, The Firm. I personally wanted Nature on the song. This is a Nature stand account. So I just want to let y'all know that I love Nature. I think Nature has one of the greatest flows ever. But even, I get it. I get the politics what happened with The Firm. But even just to see, and kudos to AZ, man. Kudos
and
to
them
AZ.
niggas flows is crazy.
I don't care what nobody says. I still need a Nas and AZ album. Even more so now to this day. Like, we need
Jamal wants that.
we need this. Like,
Been waiting for over 20 years, man.
Oh yeah, for sure, bro. They are undefeated on collaborations, bro. So it's just like, for me, this right here is where I want Nas to be. This is, for me, exactly how I felt when I heard Life is Good. And Life is Good to me is the top 4 Nas project. You put it where you want, but this rounds out his 5. I don't think it's too early. I think straight up and down, this is exactly where I want Nas to be. I know that artists kind of experiment and things, and I get that, but this is perfect Nas. Yeah. This is where Nas should live. This is the pocket he should live in, and this is, honestly, to me, as close to flawless of an album as you're going to get.
Yeah, I agree with you, bro. I think it's funny, though, because when you speak on just him locking in with one producer, I mean, if you really think about it, in hip-hop, in modern hip-hop, Nas set the precedent for going out and grabbing several producers. You know what I'm saying? He changed the game, with Illmatic. And that kind of, like, set the bar extremely high, not only for him, but for everyone who came under him, who felt like, in order to make a great album, I gotta go grab all the best producers. And that don't always work, because traditionally in hip-hop, it's one artist and one producer, maybe 2. You might have 2, maybe 3 collaborators, but it's one main producer, executive producing a record. And so for him to not only decide to take that route, which I don't believe he's ever done, I don't think he's ever had just one consistent producer throughout an entire project. Correct me if I'm wrong, but for him to
I think was the only one. I think
he's the only album in his catalog where he's done that. But to take a young, new lit producer who's consistent, and to give him, the keys and just say, rock with me on this, you know what I mean? And put faith in Hit Boy to do that for him, I think it's big, but I think it was comfortable. He was comfortable enough in his own skin at this current moment to do something that was really honest. Because another thing I think Nas has tended to do was feel like the underdog and feel like he had to go like above and beyond to gain the ear of mainstream hip hop. You know what I mean? And in a lot of sense, I feel like he did that in a way with Nasir, because I mean, it's Kanye, you know what I mean? It was another name attached to it, and it was dope. Don't get me wrong, it was dope, but I don't think it was 100%. Like, it wasn't 100% Nas project. Like, to me, that was a Kanye West project featuring Nas. This, to piggyback on what you said earlier, this feels like 100% a Nas album, and it's a direct predecessor to Life is Good.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I agree, and I think for me that's where he should dwell in as an artist, is to take the pressure off himself to finding 30,000 producers for a project just to chase this sound and that sound, lock in and tell your story. Because at the end of the day, Nas is an artist that you can't tell hip hop's story without speaking about him. So you control the tempo. You've been the heartbeat of hip hop for years. So it's like, you should never have to prove yourself. They got to prove yourself to them. And I think a lot of times he didn't realize his worth as an artist, you know, in the shiny suit era and things like that.
I say this, man. I think let's talk about the psychology of Nas. Let's talk about the genius of Nas. Let's talk about, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about one of the most original flows of all time. The way, like, he brought that classic flow. When I say the psychology, like you spoke on that earlier, Donnie, just about like how he was one of the first to step out the box and go find different producers and build that sound. People don't realize that, like, not a lot of New York rappers can go south and west and survive.
Right.
And Nas can go everywhere. Like, that's a West Coast nigga that just did this album.
Yeah, LA.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, that's incredible. And then when you talking AZ and you talking, like, to hear them flow patterns made my day. It made me go grab my pen.
Oh my god!
You know what I'm saying? I was like, wait, y'all are just Foxy. Come on, like you.
Oh, and
really?
Foxy came on so crazy. Oh my gosh!
Like AZ, man, like you said, A1, dog. We need the Nas and AZ project. You know what I'm saying? But what was brilliant to me was just like, I love the fact that, like you said, he did get a younger producer. But what you really said was the trust factor. You know how hard that is for you to be a legend in the game and have to look at someone who wasn't even really moving outside when you was moving, and say, "Yo, give me this feeling though." That's a big move. And when you talk about artists being with one producer, a friend of mine told me this years ago. That's how all the great albums were really made. Throughout history, it was always this artist. Like, you go back to Motown, Holland and Dozier, Smokey Robinson. It's just one, because once you find your vibe, you find your groove. Hov kind of helped push the let's go find different producers narratives. And then the Wayne era was just like, whatever we can get, we snapping. But Nas survives through that shit.
Definitely.
Even when he disappoints us, he bounced right back and be like, I was slipping, but it's cool. Here you go. I got you. Hey,
surviving the times, yo. That's what he does.
Surviving the times, and that shit is incredible because a lot of rappers quit a long time ago.
Yeah.
He on his fourth lap, his third, fourth lap. You did what I'm saying, and I'm just impressed. Like, I'm gonna say this. Like, I love to see the timeline talk about him.
Yeah.
It's hard to get niggas to talk about an OG now. I love to see the timeline be like, yo, this Nas dope. To see little niggas 25, 21, like,
yeah,
right?
It was the same feeling I had when I heard Life is Good. Like, the same exact feeling. And that album resonated with me so well in Nas' category because I remember being disappointed with, you know, the attempts at, like, Nostradamus and stuff like that, and like just trying to do something that wasn't you to the core. And it's just like, you know, Illmatic means a lot to me because it came out on my birthday. So that album, that literally April 19th, 94, I was 3 years old. So Illmatic and Nas are always going to mean the most to me. So when I critique him, it's because, gee, I know what you can do. Like, we know to the fullest. Like, I remember even me and Crown are the same age, and it was about, 4 years ago or so, just because we were kids when this came out, we were sitting in the car listening to Godson, just rediscovering stuff like, oh, shoot. Like, hold on, nah. Like, and this was 4 or 5 years ago now, and it's just like, Nas, to me, I just hope that he knows how much he matters.
I think he does. I think he does. I think he, well, let me say this. He stood up for black men and for rappers this weekend. I feel like all of these guys, the Entrepreneur record as well as this album, like, to shed that light, like the content of the album, what he's talking about, that shit made me feel like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Because they drowning us right now. And it's
That
like,
does make you
damn,
feel a
bro.
little better, right?
It made me just feel like, you know what? King, like when
Right.
you break down the psychology of King's disease, it's like a
Yeah.
lot of the stuff you're talking about is like, yo, this is what comes with it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like his scripture of like, yo, this is what comes with it. Just know this is what the times is. You know what I'm saying? This is where you going
Yeah.
at. And to hear the OG and the young niggas mesh like that,
Yeah.
like that's special to me, man. Like, yeah, and I think he knows he's appreciated. And I think what's so cold is that can't nobody copy his flow. Like, that's crazy to me.
And I think that's interesting what you said, Crown, because what it took me a minute to realize was that this is actually a concept album. But when I really took another step back, I really thought about how all of Nas's albums are concept albums. It's never just a collection of music that he just puts together. Even the Lost Tapes was a concept album. You know what I'm saying? And the shit's called the Lost Tapes. So that means the shit that was on the cutting room floor that he somehow put together, and like it all had the same narrative. You know what I mean? It all tied into, you know, one another. And I just think when you talk about Nas's worth, right? So some artists peak 2, 3, maybe 4 albums in, 5, 6, whatever. You ask some critics, they'll say Nas peaked on his first album. Illmatic is like a Bible to people. You know what I mean? So imagine the pressure this guy has felt with every single project. Like going in, he knows that when he sits down to do a record, the whole world is going to put it under a microscope.
Yep.
By virtue of just the fact that he created Illmatic. You know what I'm saying? And so for him to do this, like you said, at almost 50, to create an album like this is astonishing, because he knows that it's a lot riding on it. And he knows as an artist, he doesn't owe anybody anything. He doesn't owe anyone anything. But he knows his core fan base, they want Nas to win. We want Nas to win.
Yeah.
We want him to win because we know how important he is to the culture. And again, I think what's so telling of his artistry is that he conceptualizes these things that are so culturally relevant, yet he's been so consistent in his themes. It's like when I first heard It Was Written, I didn't hear it when it first came out. It Was Written came out in what, 97?
96. 96.
So in 96, I was listening to a lot of Tribe Called Quest. I was 12. I was still listening to Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? But as far as rap, I was like on Tribe and like, you know, De La Soul, like shit that my older cousins in Brooklyn.
You were happy. You were a 12-year-old kid.
I was happy. If I was listening to rap, it was happy rap. And then I turn on It Was Written. And what's the first skit on It Was Written? Nas is a slave.
Yep.
In the field. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And for him to come out, that's his sophomore album. That's how he starts the album.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Jamal, you could speak to this, man. As someone who is a true, I would say, historian of hip hop culture, talk about how this, like, feeling this release in this modern age of social media and everything being digital, you being someone who loves to collect physical records and albums and CDs, tell us how like this feels compared to Nas releases of the past.
It's an adjustment for me. For other people, you know, it might be like a release to like just, you know, download it or stream it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, you know, I grew up. I bought every. This is my first time like really experience. This is my second time experiencing a Nas album, I believe, that I couldn't go out and buy.
Yeah.
I actually, you know, go to the record store or go to Best Buy and purchase it.
Right.
I grew up, you know, me and my brothers, we were just reminiscing. I had to, you know, walk into the mall and making a purchase for It Was Written at the Wall music store. They're gone. they're like, I mean, I'd be surprised if y'all haven't heard of it before. But and then that went all through my high school career. Just it was clockwork because stuff used to come out on Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
The new releases, and then they started releasing them, late Monday nights.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We go to Tower Records in the middle of the night. We got school today. You're the first with it. It was about being the first with it back then. So that went on. That was all through Nas's career. It was written. Nostradamus. Stillmatic. Street's Disciple. Hip Hop is Dead.
Yeah.
All through, straight through his career. His catalog is so long now. It's getting longer. But to be able to go from, the actually tangible age, having the CD, seeing the artwork, having something to say, like, I got it. You know what I mean? You don't say whatever, because we were, my coming up, if you was the first one with it, it was like bragging rights.
Yeah.
It was like having gold. Like
that's how I felt about
Sonic
this album
or whatever. You know what I mean? And that's how we grew up. But like for me, it became deeper because you'd be walking home. Sometimes I have nothing to listen to. Walkman might have been home. So I had to walk home just looking at the artwork, like, ew, this is dope. It was written. When you open up the It Was Written CD, it has all the words,
all the lyrics,
to everything,
all the samples,
everything, and it looked like a scroll. It was like designed to look like it was aged or whatever, and it was artwork. It was art. And for me, Nas was one of the first artists that I really started to support and became the go-to. Nas coming out of the CD, I'm getting it.
Yeah.
Listen to it. Boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna bang it. I'm gonna walk the streets with this. I'm gonna walk to school listening to this on the CD player. I'm gonna catch the train with this. I'm gonna catch the bus with this. Oh, I'm driving now. Give me the new Nas CD. I'm from front to back. Now here we are, 2020, and Nas still at it, getting better. All the brothers in here mentioned that brought up the fact or recognizing the fact that he's concept albums. All his albums are, thought out. You know what I mean? Front to back. Even when he does collaborations, Damian Marley, front to back, thought out.
Relative.
Yeah. And for him to be able to not only adapt to, different production styles, because some people will argue, even myself, that he might not be the best beat picker.
I knew you would say that.
Truth be said, whatever. But his lyrics, what he's singing on the track, will be like, hold up, but he's still spitting. He's still.
Hey.
Oh yeah, that's never been in question. That's not the issue here.
Yeah, the beat might be like, but he came on it, and it's
no. You're not gonna get away with saying anything about Nas lyrically. Beats cool, whatever. Even a hook, fine. But what's in that dish? Nah, bro. Nah.
I'll say this though. Speaking of that, I see it like what you just said, beat picking. What do we want next from Nas? And I know it's it's like he just gave us one, but I'm gonna tell you after this, if you're saying he got to stay in his pocket, I did a Justice League Nas album, Ross A&R. That's what I need.
Yeah,
I need
that
Ross the A&R, Justice League and Nas album.
Yes,
that's what I need after this, because you know what, Nas gives us he gives us gutter and then he gives us hood classy.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Like that's his rule 1-2. Gutter, hood classy. Gutter, hood classy. I need the hood classy next.
Let me insert this too about Nas, and I think why everybody is gravitates towards him. He's the golden child. He's been the golden child since his first album. He showed and proved that with having the ability to grab all the best producers at that time. Everybody at his back, and producing an album back then, putting an album together back then is totally different from now. We make an album right now. You know what I'm saying? So like for him to have that that natural attraction throughout his career to the point where you know, we still begging for Nas and Primo. They did a whole article.
Yep, Scratch Magazine.
Cover everything. Had, you know, we don't know what happened. We not them, but it didn't. We don't have it. I don't have it. And you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, now we want the Nas and AZ. It's probably, you know what I'm saying? Like, we want, there's certain things he doesn't do what we expect him to do.
Yeah.
He always either goes like, he finds another way to like satisfy his fans, and it's like, you know, some people don't
avoid it.
Say again.
I think he avoids it. Like,
I
think Nas avoids the pressure of that. Like,
I think it's too.
It's a lot. Like, that's a lot of pressure for like Primo and Nas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think
it's so much pressure, and I think he sees it, and he's like, because and rightfully so, because of how people hold Illmatic in his box. Like, they just they shove it in his face all day. So he's like, yo, I don't even want to tap that because it don't matter if it's jamming. Right. Y'all just want Illmatic. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, that's all y'all want.
Yeah.
What I do what you said and what he did with Hit Boy was like his ability to bring these producers, right? You make producers say, I want to figure out how to make something that go around this flow. That's special. Because a lot of producers go to the studio and just throw you beats. They do what you gonna do with it.
Like I mentioned earlier.
But Hit Boy.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying for Hit Boy, like, can you imagine can you imagine how excited he is in there just cooking up like, okay, let me, because you can hear the switch ups in the beats where it's like, let me figure out how to get around this bar. Because Nas got an awkward flow pattern. You got to get around that motherfucker. You made it jam the whole way through. I'm like, yo, that kid's brilliant. He's a genius.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
He is.
He knows how to you know, ride the track or his cadence and everything like that. He can, you know, we seen him or heard him flow with that down south flow, Big Things. On some on the Dirty Harry mixtape. If anybody has that, let me know. I need a copy. You see, he knows how to ride the track. I think my man, I think you're right. I agree with you. I think he does that like, you know, that makes him want to go in when they you know, give him these tracks he's like never heard. It's like, oh, you know, I bet it excites him and it keeps him rejuvenated.
And see, the way that y'all speak about Illmatic is why I hold it was written in such high regard. Because I feel like it was written, it gets so disrespected because it came after Illmatic. But as a final polished, finalized product, it's better than Illmatic. As a whole. It just isn't as important, but it is properly produced. It's almost like he figured out, he went from being the street kid with a bunch of bars on Illmatic, because I mean, if you look at it, New York State of Mind doesn't even have proper cadence sequence or anything in that nature. It is just, here's my notepad. It's pretty much, it's almost damn near the same thing as DMX's first album, where it was just like, here, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, and it was written, he figured it out, and I'm sorry, but it was written, to me, it's right up there. Of course, it's not the American cultural iconic piece that Illmatic was, but at the same time, America loves nostalgia, and I feel like we don't let Nas get away from Illmatic to a fault sometimes, to the point where it's like, no, you also have it was written in your discography.
Well, you know what? I think he just did it this time. I think this album took the conversation off of Illmatic, and I think he was, once he got to the point where he was like, I'm done. Because I remember he did the whole interview a while back, like, yo, I'm not performing there no more.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I think this album is the beginning of a new chapter. I think the beat, even when we talk about, like, it was written.
Yeah, I got the, you know, I was just saying, what, there's not many artists, you know, from our era that can say that. You know what I'm saying? That,
yeah, no, for real.
Y'all give me too much praise for my first album. Get off it. Like, you know, appreciate my other work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not many artists get the opportunity to say that. Right. And with Nas, like, I wanted to you know, throw this out there earlier. Like, Nas is a different breed of MC. He's a brother. He's like a man. He's an MC, and he discusses his personal life in his records. It's almost like a biography.
Yeah,
He put stuff on from Illmatic that really took place in his life and helped him grow as an artist and as a man, and so forth. And he continues to do that. He's putting like real stuff on there, like the track with on the new album, because that's what we talking about with Big Sean. Big Sean talking about his experiences with the women. I know who he talking about. Y'all know who he talking about.
Yeah.
It's a good exchange. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. No, it's real.
I think Nas is like super honest.
Yeah.
In his whole career, he's an honest MC, and he's not afraid to fail. And that's something that a lot of artists don't know how to, embrace something like that. That's why he's all underdog.
For you to be that great for that long,
Yeah.
if people only hold you, if the general consensus is that people only talk about Illmatic for the last 30 years, nigga, and you still be relevant, like, cause
no one else has that.
Nobody else.
No one else put out a project that.
Let me ask y'all, like, how many? Back to the Illmatic, like, how many times was it celebrated? I got two. What's it? 10-year anniversary.
I have the 20 and the 25. Yeah, I got the 20 and 25
coming up.
The 30 is coming up.
That's how Seminole. That's how Seminole.
I bought it anyway to have like extra whatever, but
yeah,
be able to celebrate with basically we grew up with them, and what I'm saying, grew up with us. That's the soundtrack to our lives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to your point, Jamal. To your point, Jamal. His honesty is what resonates with him, and his lack of fear, I should say, of putting himself out there without recourse and without, any hesitation. Like, Nas is going to do what Nas wants to do as an artist. If he wants to go completely commercial and fuck with Diddy and rock leather suits and do Hate Me Now and
make it look good
on the cross and make that shit look fly as hell, he's going to do that, and he don't give a fuck what anybody got to say about it. Now, to Earl's point, I know we, are harping on Illmatic to death, but I gotta disagree with you on it was written being better than Illmatic.
No. I mean as far as this.
No, hold on.
Go ahead.
I know exactly what you mean, but I'm gonna say conceptually, Nas took way more risks with It Was Written. I Gave You Power.
Yes.
Should have been the first song to like win a Pulitzer Prize. To make your narrative from point of view of a gun. Who else has done that? But if you think about it, that's the type of thing that Nas has done consistently throughout his career. He's been from the point of view of a gun, a fetus. On I think it was Hip Hop Is Dead when he did Who Killed It.
Oh yeah.
The old 40s. He fucking rapped the song backwards.
Yeah, backwards.
Who takes those risks creatively? And then, you think about this, right? You think about, new rappers who are coming out. You could use Kendrick Lamar as an example. Kendrick, he fucks with his voice. He fucks with the pitch of his vocals on different songs. I think Logic just came out and said he didn't fuck with Good Kid, Mad City because he was doing that. You know what I mean? Like taking risks and being out there, but normally it would be considered like weirdo rap. That shit would be what you say, Crown?
Who gives a fuck with Logic?
Exactly. No, my point in saying that was mainstream feels like, oh, what are you doing? That's weird shit. That's what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
No. As an artist, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take creative license and take those risks. And Nas, I've always said this, out of his peer group, out of all the rappers that came out in his era, no one has taken those kind of risks creatively.
He's literally been crucified.
Only person I could say is close to it. Only person I could say was close to it was like Outkast, but they didn't do it in the way Nas did it.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Because Nas did it just lyrics, like they did it with the image. But I get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying, Donnie. But to your point, Earl, like the same shit is like, check it. I just think it was a timing thing, dog. Like it was really a timing thing. It was too much going on for people to properly appreciate It Was Written.
Yeah,
and it was an incredible. Like it to me, those two albums are neck and neck. Like I love
Yeah, for me
Illmatic
too,
for the
yeah.
history of it, but it's like I gotta almost immediately play It Was Written right after it. You see what I'm saying? When I bump it. So that is a really close conversation, man. But Nas is, you right, from the storytelling and the risk taking. I mean, he said "Owe Me Black" like 48 because the blacks in the club. I was like, he's a different guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
on the Timberland
I
record.
don't
On the
want to
Timberland
hear
record, he
about
said
that. No.
on the Timberland record with
That was
with
on,
Destiny's Child
what's
in
that
the
on
video.
Nostradamus? That's on Nostradamus.
That was no, that was
That's on Nostradamus.
yeah,
Yeah.
Nostradamus, yeah.
The genuine, the
Nostradamus.
genuine.
I think this whole, you know, Nas is late. Every time Nas put out a release, people go back to his earlier in his catalog and have a deeper appreciation.
Yeah.
I think if y'all go back and listen
Yeah.
to Nostradamus, you would appreciate what
I love Nostradamus.
yeah, I know you do. You just appreciate the you know, the approach that he took, because it was different. Because he was doing stuff on that album that's popular or trending now.
Today.
As far
True.
as the spoken word aspect and stuff, that's what he opens the albums with. I still don't know who the girl is on there. Donnie, who's the chick on the joint? I don't know.
Oh yeah, I don't know on there.
Yeah,
My thing with Nas
the
is this.
whole vibe of what Nostradamus, the real, you know, the person, the real Nostradamus was about, or Nostradamus was about. And
Right.
he took that concept and ran with it. He said he blacked out on it. He don't remember doing it.
Yeah.
What type of shit is
Yeah,
that? But
and that's
you know,
what's weird about Nas. Like I was watching an interview with him on Hot 97 the other day, and first of all, it's rare to get a Nas interview in general, but he had an interview the other day on Hot 97. He was just talking about the only thing that he really remembers where everything is Illmatic. Other than that, he remembers the songs, but he couldn't tell you the album or the placement or nothing like that. And that speaks to, one, the depth of his catalog, because the depth and the content of his catalog. Because like if you're speaking about that much deep stuff, again, you know, owe me back like 40 acres and a mule, like in the club, like you're thinking this deep and you can't help this. You're a genius and you can't help it. Right. Like no matter what it is, you cannot help yourself. And that's not to a fault. That just says you were meant for a higher purpose than just being a typical rapper. Like, yeah, cool. We saw with the beef with Hov and this, that, and the third. Yeah, I can really give you Made You Looks and all that other kind of stuff. But in the same flip, I also am chopping the charts, telling kids I know I can. Like,
you know what, Earl? You know what makes It Was Written even more impressive is that Nas had probably his biggest commercial hits on that record. I Ruled the World and Street.
Yes.
But if you break down the lyrics of both of those records, he's
a heavy record.
Such ill fucking concepts.
You could write a dissertation for your master's degree for that shit.
Like, dude,
you could write a dissertation for your master's degree off of If I Ruled the World. No bullshit. Like that shit is crazy, man.
He was talking heavy, and like as he's the last of that real righteous era of the '90s. You see what I'm saying? That was like the Backpackers, the Jungle Brothers, that whole, when it was real Public Enemy style, right? And then, you got Hov who do it as well. It's hard for a new rapper to get in that space.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think is so brilliant about putting these young cats on this record. Like Ferg went crazy. Fabio, I was like, you put him on a record with Fabio?
Which is wild.
Nobody sees that coming, dog. Like, are you still impressing us with Nas 30 years in? And Hit Boy's like,
Lil Durk was talking about Black Lives Matter on it. You know?
Yeah, like Lil Durk was talking real about Chicago, not caping just for, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was legitimate about that. Like, yeah, bro, it's just Nas, man. He's an artist first, and I think he's an artist that expresses himself in hip hop. But at the core of him, he's not a rapper. He's an artist. He just happens to be really good at rapping. No, real talk. Like I feel like if he put his mind to it and wanted to be a painter or a graphic designer or author,
he can actually draw.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like whatever it was he homed into, he was going to be it regardless.
Yeah. Like, let me ask y'all this. Let me ask y'all this real quick. I don't want to be cliche, but I just want to hear, because this is the type of album you listen to it. At least for me, every time I listen to King's Disease, I got a new favorite song. Like right now, it's Car 85. Yesterday it was Ultra Black. When it first came out, it was The Cure. What's everybody's favorite track right now and why?
It's hard for me right now. It's hard. I ain't gonna cap. I think Car 85 is special, dog. Like you can't go wrong with Charlie. Charlie don't fail you. But 27 Summers, that beef on 27 Summers.
Yeah.
There's so much happening on that album, dog. It's hard to pick right now. Give me a week. I'll get back to
you. Good answer.
I'll go straight up. Full circle. I mean, listen, I wanted a firm record for years. Like AZ to me, like, no, you gotta understand, like me and Crown were in high school. He had just, I remember, I'll never forget the shit. He had just got his license. And we used to ride around in the car. Everybody else, Jeezy, Gucci, yada, yada, yada. We are going to Best Buy every Friday buying a different old school record that's like, all right, cool, I'm going to live with this. I'm going to live with this. And it was just, I mean, we literally, I think we started in like 1984 or something like that and went every year, week after week after week after week until we got to like year 2003 or something. Whatever it was. But the point is, we literally did it. Mind you, we graduated high school in 08. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like that time, that era for what was out then. Man, when we got to Illmatic and stuff like that, and we used to be at each other's cribs for hours, just LimeWire. We probably broke so many computers on that shit, bro. Just downloading that kind of shit. So it's like to get firm AZ records. Like I remember the first time I ever heard The Essence. Like the first time I ever heard The Essence, that shit was my MySpace song for months, nigga. Like that shit was just so hard. And we're kids, but man, just to hear the firm, to hear Fox again. I wish we would have got Nature, but it's cool.
Can we say this though? Can we say the fact that it boy can say I got Dr. Dre rapping on my album? Man. How many people can say they got Dr. Dre rapping on their album? Like
that was a crazy surprise on there. I was so hyped to hear Dre on
it. That's what put together the firm, man. That era.
I know that, but that's what was so dope about it. Like for you to like the firm in the Dre and Nas catalog, the firm is always like that sore spot for a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was incredible, but for a lot of people, it's always been looked at as like this weird ass album, right? To get all of these guys back together, plus the lady, you know what I'm saying, and then get Dre, and Dre didn't produce it. That's humility to be like,
exactly.
I'm gonna get on this. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get on this, and I'm gonna speak. Like that's crazy to me. Like,
and Dre is in album mode. Don't forget that too. He's in album mode right now.
Word.
So
I didn't know.
He's in album mode. He's working with Kanye.
That's right.
Yeah, he's in like actual album mode for real.
That's what's up. No, I think with the firm, I think Dre and Nas were like ahead of their time. I think it was too much for people. Like the way that they put that together, just that was totally out of left field. Like Nas gonna grab Dre, and then he put Foxy, Nature. You know what I'm saying?
Cormega
got replaced with Cormega, or how did that? It was Nature first.
It was Nature first.
It's sad, you know what I'm saying? They, you know, like again, it's history in the making. Like that whole, it was written because that was the boiling. That was you know, you in that era, entering that era, or finding out about what, you know, that East West was beefing. Dre wanted to work with other artists.
Yeah.
They reached out, they did that, but they had to lose Mega in the process. Gain Nature.
Oh, Nature came after Cormega. That's right.
Yeah. Nori hopped on, and you know the whole album, you know, was completed, but it wasn't what it didn't work out the way that they planned it. Basically, it turned into something else. But you know, a lot of people, you know, appreciated it still, and they still brought all of their talents to the table, and even more with the having Foxy on there, being a female, production by Dre, still a rarity to this day.
I don't think enough people appreciated it. Even Dre, he even talked down about it after the firm flop. You know what I'm saying? When 2001, it wasn't appreciated enough because people weren't ready for it.
It was rocky.
It was too out of the box. It was too
much
going on.
Lauryn Hill on the same album, If I Ruled the World. Like that was looked at as like a downer for a lot of critics and a lot of I guess fans at the time. They thought he went commercial.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's uplifting
us.
You know what I'm saying?
But even to speak on that. Oh, go ahead.
not gonna say like I mean, that comes from like Nas is like we talked about it, but let's talk about it, man. He's plays with incredible burdens, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
he's
life.
literally like you're the artist that came in, you changed the game in the gray area. You changed the game in the gray area. Think about it. It's LL, it's Kane, it's Public Enemy, it's Nas, it's Biggie, it's Pop, it's Jay. You were in the midst of that shift, dog.
Literally.
Like it's hard, you know what I'm saying? Like it's extremely hard. And then that core fan base, because that's when it was about the core. That's when it was. It was the backpack era. Like yo, who, like you said, who got it first? That's what was special about this album. When I heard it, I felt like I heard it before everybody else. I wanted to call somebody. You see what I'm saying? I wanted to be like, yo, you need to, hey, this new Nas, nice. I tweeted like 5-6 times about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
to always be that guy, it's like he can never step outside of that pocket, or people are gonna always be like, nah, you trading, dog. You switching out. You trying to go, because they want him to be that. It's like the cousin you don't want to leave. You know he the nigga, but you like, man, come back to the block. He's that nigga, and he's gonna always have that type of reverence in his career, and it's dope. It's dope. He handles it like flawlessly.
That's a great point, Crown. That's a great point.
That's a good point, man.
Yep,
Real good point.
I agree, man. It's like I said, with Life is Good for me, it resonated so well because it's like, personally, I liked Untitled. If I listen to it today, it sounds very 2008, but I still, for overall, like it. It's just the production is very 2008. It just like literally sounds like Obama's getting elected next month. Like it just sounds like 08 for sure.
But we talking about the nigga album?
Yeah.
That's,
But
It was the nigga tape.
It was
the
nigga tape.
Right. No. But you know what I'm talking about though, Earl? The nigga tape that came before the album, not a mixtape.
Yeah, called a nigga tape.
That was the real album, bro. Because remember they tried to silence him. They tried to muffle him when he wanted to put nigga.
Yeah, he went through a lot.
Exactly. He went through a lot with that. That's why a lot of that album sounds so polished and this, that, and the third, because there was a lot more fried chickens and everything else on that nigga tape. There was a lot of that kind of those concept records.
Definitely.
But even that, to go from Life is Good to me, it was just so important because it was everything that I needed from Nas. Because I got the backpack shit with what's it called? Locomotive and God, I have to go back to that album now.
Oh yeah.
The what was the one that premiered a year before? The Nazadum. The Don, exactly. So when we heard the Don first, I was like, oh yeah, he coming. But then there was the whole Khalees thing, and then it was like, he's got a lot to talk about. And then it was Life, and it's like I go back to it a lot of times, just on some man shit. Like whenever you go back, you can kind of just like, damn, all right, cool. And it's like I didn't get that from the Lost Tapes 2, and I didn't get that from the Kanye project, primarily because I feel like Crown said, it was just Nas rapping on a bunch of Kanye beats versus actually a Nas project. But this right here, why I'm so high on this album here, is because this is what I need. Not that I want him to just limit himself, but he didn't limit himself here. He experimented in so many different ways, but it's like, this is Nas. This is the guy who says, no, this is the way we're going. You made rapping and made thinking cool.
Earl, would you say Life is Good is your favorite Nas album?
No.
What's your favorite Nas?
What's your favorite Nas album?
It's a tie between Illmatic and It Was Written.
Okay.
But It Was Written to me is Illmatic with artist development.
Okay.
That's probably what I would mean.
Okay. Because Maul, like when I think of Life is Good, you know what I think about, right?
Yeah. Life.
You know what I think about? I think about the road trip we took.
Yeah, the cross country.
No. When we drove to New York.
Yeah.
It came
out didn't it come out that week?
Yeah, that's summer.
I got mine in New York on I think Atlantic Ave at the Best Buy there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't stop until I got there. I met up with my home. I was like, where can I buy a CD? He was like, I don't know. Maybe Best Buy.
Right. But for me, that was, man, I'm 21, I'm in college, and like you're growing as a man. And it's like somebody dropped a man album here. Like I'm young.
Good point.
But
Jai, how you just
resonated
college, I was in college when he dropped Ether, and they played it. They kept playing it over and over and over again on the radio. They never do that, and they kept playing it. The whole dormitory was just running through the halls like it was bonanza. It was crazy. But it was all like good, like, you know, like that good friendly like conversation, like, oh, you know, he just cheated on homie. It was like haven't felt that type of energy since.
Yeah. Crown, what's your favorite Nas album, bro?
I'm gonna take the two that Ace said out of the conversation because those are like untouchables. So after that, I'm gonna say an abstract one. Hip Hop is Dead. Hip Hop is Dead was a great effort from like it's to me is one of my personal favorites. Like I think when we talk about Kanye and Nas, I think that was the era we wanted that album.
Yep.
Like I think that was the era where it would have, because when he was giving Common and Twisted movies, I think he would have really done his thing, and we got a glimpse of that on that album.
Yeah.
I think the concept was dope. The Chrisette Michelle collabs, like they were made for each other. You know what I'm saying? Like
that was
yeah, the game on that.
They had the game really rapping on that.
Yeah. That was on the Just Blaze beat too, right? Yeah, Just Blaze did.
Yeah, it was.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and
they have two collabs. They have their the other one on the Nigga album as well, with the Chris Brown record.
Oh yeah, I wasn't a big fan.
Yeah, you know, again, it's very 2008.
That's funny.
But we love you, Nas. Understand, we love you, Nas. Don't get it. We love you, bro.
But yeah, man, like that album to me was like, it was at a great time, and it meant something to me, especially as a rapper, as a studier, a student at that time. Like that was an album that really just it feels like this one, and I feel like every decade he gives us one of those. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels like this one, but of 2006. You know what I'm saying? What the world was like in 2006. He gives us, like I say, he go gutter and then he go hood classy. So it was that for me, and it was just nice to see. So I would say maybe that one, and I don't know if I have two because you took the best ones. I think I like Life is Good. Life is Good is my second.
Okay.
Because Life is Good. Life is Good was 444 with 4444. Period.
Talk about it. Yes, bro.
It definitely was.
Yes.
It definitely was. Jamal, what's your favorite Nas album, bro?
Man, shit. Oh man, it's kind of like scattered out because I want to say the Nigga Tape.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, that project.
I'll give you three because he got enough that I could do that. I say that the Nigga Tape, but which would include the Nigga album, most of it. I really like the Dirty Harry mixtape for the simple fact that he showed that his voice and his lyrics like they could be piercing on other beats like nothing.
I don't think Earl and Crown know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know. I know the Dirty Harry mixtape.
If y'all can
heard
find
it.
You gotta look it up, but that shit is incredible.
I've not heard it. I'm gonna look it up now.
You gotta look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking that up.
Yeah, so it's basically
like Dirty Harry.
This is what I like.
Or something like
Share
that.
the wealth.
Yeah, no, that Dirty Harry.
DJ Dirty Harry. It's a classic mixtape. Well, from art, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's called Living Legends.
Yep.
Living Legends.
All
right.
Y'all would love it. If y'all find it, y'all would love it.
I'm gonna look it up.
Because I say that one because it got a lot of play, and it just showed like how he could, even his voice alone and his lyricism.
Dude, that was the soundtrack for us that year. It came out around the time Streets Disciple dropped.
Yup, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay. Streets Disciple, but I guess like my three would be I don't even know. Life is Good. It Was Written. And I like Nostradamus because he was on some philosopher type stuff. He went from the boy, the man, king to the philosopher. So yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say those three.
Yeah.
He got too much, man.
He got a lot, man. He got a lot. So I would say my favorite Nas album of all time, and it's really hard, but it would have to be Stillmatic.
Oh,
Okay.
Stillmatic was just, it was such a statement because like Maul said, when Ether dropped, when Hov and Nas would, you know, going to war, it was just a moment unlike any other, I think, in my lifetime in hip hop, you know, but that just kind of set the stage for what I felt like was just, it was like an underdog boxer coming back, you know, from a loss or something, because people felt like Hov won. People felt like Hov beat Nas as far as just the battle, but he might have won the battle, but he ain't win the war. I mean, I don't think he won the battle either personally, but I just think that exchange set the stage for Nas's biggest comeback, because at that point, a lot of people had written Nas off because of Nostradamus. People felt like Nostradamus was by far his worst album, his worst project ever, and they had completely written him off. And then at that time, Jay-Z ruled the world. You know what I'm saying? Nas was
what a dangerous move, Jay-Z.
Dangerous.
That's a risky move, bro.
But he awoke a sleeping giant, I felt like, when he did that. Because I think Nas was so, it's like Jordan retiring almost. It's like Nas had done everything, and I felt like personally at that point he might have been bored with the game a little bit. He needed something to give him like a fire under his ass to get like, oh word, you sleeping on me?
Hey, let's talk about, let's say this though, because I think about that all the time, right? And maybe this the optimist in me, but just knowing Hov, I know how much Nas mean to Hov, dog.
Yes.
And I think Hov was looking at Nas like, don't tap out, dog. Like, don't tap out. You know what I'm saying?
Talk about it.
On some homeboy shit. Because, like, when you really, grown man shit is, you know, I'm gonna be, it's boxers. I'm gonna fuck you up in this gym, but you know it's love outside of this. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
And I think that gave Nas that fire, because like what you're saying, like I wouldn't put that as my favorite album, but my favorite Nas record is on that album. One Mic is my favorite Nas record.
Yeah, One Mic is incredible.
And everything else, like Illmatic, I have my personal favorites, you know what I'm saying? Just like, you know, but as far as the embodiment of Nas, if you explained yourself in one record, that was you, my nigga.
Yeah.
You know what else I think is really underrated in Nas' discography? Is Godson. I think Godson don't get talked about. Godson is incredible.
Yo, but like what's homie name?
Oh, Crown.
Like he mentioned.
Crown, Jamal Crown.
I talk for an hour.
I just wanted to revert back to what he was saying, or add on to it with that, like, you know, like his whole thing. He got, you know, that whole thing with Jay-Z took him to another level. You know what I mean? Like, Stillmatic right into Godson, but he had reason for it. It was like this, like again, he's fueled by more than what most artists are fueled by. Just his life, and he's pouring it out on paper and pen. You can see it in the Godson album. That's a lot of emotion, you know, and I think like left over from the previous album.
Yeah, and I think that the answer to that is Last Real Nigga Alive. Like, Last Real Nigga Alive is one of my favorite Nas songs ever, because
and check the production. Who did the production?
That's what I wanted from him so much. It's like, no, it's something about the way that was produced, like, and the way that his flow, it's so hard to catch that pocket. You have to almost let him produce you as a producer. But it's like, man, like, it's something about the way that he attacked Last Real Nigga Alive. It was like, oh, okay. All right.
I was just gonna say, like, Nas is one of them artists that has his vault of unreleased B-sides, the other side of the tape. it's probably like no other. Like even stuff that we had, like probably combine me and Donnie together, like the B-side stuff that you
Yeah.
can't get
Yes.
right now. Crazy. He has like
Yeah, man.
he went other places. And, you dealing with an artist that came up in the industry and outlasted the industry. I mean, like the different like the music labels. You know what I'm saying? Hip
Facts.
hop labels. He outlasted the hip hop labels. He did it
Oh, a
I would
lot of labels.
tell y'all a
from
story real
Columbia
quick.
to where'd he go? Columbia straight to Def Jam, right?
Yeah, he was on
Yeah, he
Def
was on
Jam
Columbia
after
to Def Jam.
Columbia.
And
Now he's
then
Mass Appeal on his
but
own
he had
shit.
like a lot,
Like
underground
Mass
stuff.
Appeal.
I like
Yeah,
Master
Master
Appeal's
Appeal, yeah.
moves. I love
Like
Master Appeal's
Mass
moves.
Appeal.
Yeah.
And I know,
The
before we
magazine's
wrap
nice
this,
too. Like, Master Appeal magazine.
before we
Facts.
wrap this thing up, man, I just want to give a slick shout out. Karma 3 is hard as fuck. I know
Oh yeah.
niggas try to play with E. Karma 3 is
Yeah,
hard
nah.
as fuck. Mass Appeal showed up over the last 2 weeks.
I don't know, man. I wasn't really feeling it, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like East, maybe
Word.
my expectations of him are a little too high, but I feel like he hasn't really found like his voice yet. Like, I liked him when he first dropped, but I don't know, man. These projects he's putting out, they're not really connecting with me that much, bro.
So you weren't a fan of like Kyrie Chanel and all that?
I mean, I kind of fucked with it. Like his first, what was his very first project? The first one he did, where he got the shortcut. Not the very first like big project he dropped.
Was it? It wasn't. What was it? It wasn't.
I'm gonna really have to go in his discography.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was the first one that got everybody's attention. I like that a lot, but I feel like he didn't stay in that pocket. I don't know. I'm not. I want East to win. Like I feel him. Like he yeah, the paranoia shit. Yeah, that shit was hard. And I love all of the collabs he did with Nipsey. But I haven't been able to like connect with his projects like that.
He's surprised. I'm an East fan, and I feel everything you're saying. Trust me. Like it was the debut. The anticipation was really high, and when the debut dropped, it was a weird time. You see what I'm saying? It was just like, and I think a lot of people just don't see the other side. But what I see at East is like he mastered the art of like modern and New York. Like to bring lyricism in this new type of bounce that he has, it's special. I just think you gotta master it. In this project, to me, he's found some better production that was like, okay, you're stepping it up, and it's like, okay, this shit's gonna go. Because a lot of it has been that maybe, in certain people is. But I love East, man, and I love what Nas is doing. And I'm like, yo, just Mass Appeal as a whole these last 2 weeks, I feel like they presented some solid content.
Yeah, no,
you know what I like
that
Nas is doing? You know what I like Nas is doing with East is he's not forcing himself next to him. He's just letting him find himself. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a lot of times guys have a tendency when they have a young guy to do that, a young guy under them to do that. It's almost like this is my protege. Like we saw, Hova Bleak and even early Kanye, but it's just like, with East, man, he's just being able to exist in his own thing. And quiet as it's kept, Nas is, acquiring much wealth out in Silicon Valley. So quite frankly, he's just tapping in when he feels like it. But, hey man, again, a genius in every bit of the word.
Yeah. I'm happy Nas is getting his due as far as like the business side, because that's something that we didn't touch on. But like when you think about Nas, like with Willie Esco, you know what I mean? With like he was like trend setting from early. I don't know if y'all remember, Nas had like a collab. Was it with Lugs? Did he have a Lugs shoe?
I think he had Carl Kanan.
He had a Carl Kanan, Lugs,
Willie Esco,
and then a Willie
probably a couple
Esco.
other ones.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think he had a Fila shoe too.
Fila,
but his collabs don't, like, everybody's doing that now. It's like it's like he said, like, you know, he started the like Escobar season, and now everybody got a season. You know what I mean? Like Nas is such a trendsetter in so many various different avenues of hip hop. And like, I even like the crew, like putting your crew on, like you being that guy, and then putting your crew on, like when, like, you know, he did the
the
QB
Uchiwali and
album.
stuff.
Nah, not. I mean, that's Bravehearts, like Bravehearts too, but like even like before that, like when he did like the QB album and shit. One of my favorite songs of all time, one of my favorite Nas songs of all time is on that shit. Find Your Wealth. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Jamal knows what I'm talking about because we play that shit all the time. But Find Your Wealth, and nigga, it's going back to like the B-sides, like his B-sides. Nas has a song. Listen, one of Nas's most underrated songs ever is a song on the Street Fighter soundtrack called One on One.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Go look that shit up.
Yeah, look that up. It's a good track.
This is how devoted a Nas fan I am. Like, I don't just fuck with his mainstream shit. Me and Jamal both, like, Jamal even more than me, because Jamal is like the biggest rap historian, rap nerd that I know. But he knows, that's how we linked up, because he knows as many Nas songs as I do, and some of Nas's best shit has not like been heard by the general public. You know what I'm saying? Like Nas on One on One, he's talking about street fighting versus shooting it out. And this is at a time when like gangster rap was at its all-time high. This was like 95 he did this. So this is literally Illmatic, it was written era. 95.
Yeah, this is the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
The fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme, Raul Julia as fucking M. Bison shit. Nigga, I went to the movie theater and saw that shit. And Nas got a song on that fucking soundtrack called One on One. Go listen to it, y'all. Like, the shit is golden. That shit is a fucking
and you got
gem.
another underground joint, Amongst Kings. And it's funny because he has Amongst Kings, and now he got King's Disease.
He's always had the King theme in his shit. Like he said Peace King.
Yeah,
it just took off. Like he set so many trends in rap music that go totally, you know, unspoken. Like Nas is just he's crucial to the foundation of his culture, especially modern hip hop culture. Like,
one of my favorite Nas songs is Second Childhood. I think that was top tier Nas performance, production around him, just everything. Second Childhood is a perfect song to me. Like, it is an absolute.
It's a part of the reason why Stillmatic is one of my favorites, because of that record right there.
Yeah. Second Childhood is amazing. Like, I love that shit. Like, the Lost Tapes project doesn't get talked about enough. It is an incredible project.
I love the Lost Tapes.
The original Lost Tapes. It is incredible. Like, it really is.
Black Zombies, Drunk by Myself.
The second one, it was good. It just
Girl, don't lie. You ain't like the second one, nigga.
No. I didn't like
the second one at all, nigga.
You talk hella shit about that second fucking.
You know what I
Lost Tapes.
didn't like about the second one? I did not fuck with that Melody Skeleton. You get the listen. I don't ever want to hear Melody Skeleton again.
Yo, come on, man. Nah, man.
In your life.
I can't take that slander, bro. That shit was dope.
About one of our favorite rappers. Every one of our favorite rappers have a cringe moment. It comes.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. I mean, Hov made the Sunshine video, so I mean, there's that.
It's everywhere, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's so lit to just be like, and get around it.
Yeah.
Yo, Nas has escaped the write-off like 3-4 times. Like, every time they write him off, he's like, all right,
he bounces back even harder.
Like,
that's why Stillmatic is so important, because it's quintessential Nas coming back, like back against the wall, people writing him off, and he comes back harder and better than ever. Like, definitely.
Who listed on It Was Written as one of their favorites?
Me for sure.
You got the you heard Silent Murder, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Most people didn't know because it wasn't on the CD. It was only on a tape.
So I
He's one
have
of them artists that did that too. Like he would put extra songs on the tape, on the analog instead of on the CD. I never got that, but he did it a couple times.
Yeah.
He did it with
yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of this digital
too.
age. That's the
Yeah, it's
beauty
like
of the digital
Like
age.
that.
But
yeah,
for me, what really introduced me to finding all that stuff was LimeWire, man. When LimeWire was
oh
around,
yeah,
oh my gosh,
LimeWire.
I had, and I mean, today
Yeah,
as a creative, I'm not for pirating music. Like now I see it on the other side, right?
yeah,
But back then, just because I mean, just being involved in the business of music, like I get it. There's pride and ownership. But
yeah,
if I'm gonna keep it real, I mean, hip hop comes from bootlegging, so it is what it is. At the end of the day, man, those LimeWire days, finding all that stuff for like old Green Lantern mixtapes and like,
yup,
oh my gosh, man, like I used to sit all day and break full PCs with I'm sure as many viruses as possible because I just was that was my hustle in high school was selling mixtapes, man. Like you asked
Yeah, that
for
was the game. That was the
that
game.
was it.
Back
I
in the
was
day.
selling mixtapes,
that was
like
that
being
was
real.
everybody
Finding
hustle.
I used to
Yeah,
find the joints that nobody had, and LimeWire was great for that.
yeah,
LimeWire was incredible for finding some unreleased shit that on somebody's basement floor that somehow
yep,
got leaked. Like I had a
Yeah,
lot of first records that didn't quite pop, but they were like some of my favorite fucking songs, right? And what I started to discover, like coming from the South, dog, you talking clue tapes, shit
yeah,
like that you ain't finding. You're not gonna find that in Florida. So
no,
where everybody growing up with that shit, we looking for, damn, what's the food tape? What's this,
right,
and that? And I'm hearing some of them
yeah,
freestyles, and I'm like,
right,
damn, these is crazy. Or even having to
yeah,
do some of that homework. Like now, some of the stuff y'all told me, I never heard because it never trickled down. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta go
yeah,
mhm,
yeah.
know this project. I don't know that one. Like, that's
yeah,
dope.
You know, a lot of them came through just down the pipeline, do mix CDs, because you know mix CDs were different back then. And then then once everybody had access to the line wires and the what was the other joint, the Napster, and there was a third one.
That
Napster,
that fifth,
Say again?
Crosswire, that fifth,
Yeah,
all that shit.
Frostwire,
Crosswire, that fib,
that
all that
whole
stuff.
era, that sped everything up. You know what I mean? And it
I
with
missed that era though.
yeah,
I do too.
it was special. And
It was
it
special. It was.
opened up a floodgate of to music that you would now have access to that you wouldn't have known about before.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
this man, he had a lot of music on there, a lot of tracks that we wouldn't have heard if it
Yeah.
wasn't for those pirating sites or whatever.
Yeah.
They played a
Absolutely.
part. They played a major part.
Yeah.
Nah, Nas is iconic, man. He's important, and he's a pioneer in every way possible. Like, at the end of the day, man, he's just as important as Langston Hughes to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk.
Yeah,
Like,
Langston
he's
Hughes.
he is. Like, I'm sorry, but hip hop is the most beautiful art form that I know. Just because it's limitless. Music is just one small section of what hip hop is, and I think Nas embodies every single aspect of hip hop possible. So,
Definitely. I mean, he
Nas
permeates
is
every
good.
piece of culture in hip hop right now. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like Nas has his fingerprints all over it. And it's
Yep.
like Chappelle said that line, I say it all the time, like the true mark of greatness is when everything before you is obsolete and everything after you bears your mark. And I really
Real.
feel like that defines Nas' his career. Like everything has his fingerprints on it in some way, shape, or form. Like you can't have the conversation about the cornerstones of rap music without Nas being a big part of it, especially like for what's considered the hip hop generation, which is if you're born between, I want to say, is it 1977 to like 1990, 91. I mean, it was to 84, 85, but it's extended because that whole time period was just, it laid the blueprint for everything that's going on now. So, you know what I mean? Like Nas is a huge part of that.
Yeah. I agree.
Huge part.
I
Like
think
Crown was saying, they almost wrote him off so many
couple
times.
times.
Like they almost completely wrote him off. Like
A lot
how
of
the
times.
fuck can you do that? Like I never understood that shit.
A couple
I'm
times.
gonna tell
As
you what it
recently
was.
as like a
Nas
couple
is
years ago.
Yeah.
Nas
More
is
than
like you
more
gotta think,
definitely more.
dog.
It was a couple
Nas is
times.
the first. That comes with being the first. Like he's the first, bro. So he's the prototype. A lot of
Yeah.
people was able to just build a sauce off of Nas, man. Like one of my favorite lines is like, I think it was on a Lil Jon record where he was like, I should start paying rappers a writing fee or some shit. I should start taxing rappers a writing fee. Like, you know, with my style, just get that back. Like, a lot of cats really just like was able to pick Nas apart and better themselves up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's easy for a lot of people to be like, yo, but to beat it, like we keep talking about, you know, the sidestepping and be like, all right, that's hard to keep being tried like that your whole career.
I'm telling
Like
you.
I ain't just beat you ring. Like I don't really. He's like Carmelo. He's like
In a
Mello.
lot of
He's one of
ways,
those
he's like
like
Mello.
they
That's
treat
a
him like
great
Mello.
that's a great
They don't
analogy.
respect him.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't respect him like they supposed to, but I think like
Nah.
he always makes you, and that's what matters, dog. Like that's the heart of a man. Like your whole life is somebody
Definitely,
doubting
bro.
me somewhere, and I gotta prove my point. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, Nas has definitely smacked people in the face a couple times. Like y'all better fucking put some respect on my name. Like he's had to do that multiple times in his career, and that's like what I admire about him the most is that even when he's counted out, he's still gonna come back, and it's always harder, better, wiser, smarter, more lyrical, more honest. Like
All the game.
definitely.
Even like when you look at the collab with Common he had a few years ago, right? The Ghetto Dream shit, which is one of my
Ghetto
favorite
Dream.
songs ever. Oh
I
my
fuck with
god.
that.
They
Like-
both went hard on that.
Yeah, they did.
And
Like,
with that picture too, the picture of them that had never been released before,
exactly.
Yeah.
that was ill. Like I love that.
Nas getting on the track when Nas makes you step it up. Because I mean, not that Common wasn't hard or nothing like that, but he wasn't rapping like 94 Common for years. But it's like Nas brought him back to that. Like, no, we going here with it, and they did. They did for sure. So
Nah,
like,
he dope,
nah,
man.
man.
And
He brought it out of
what
him.
Common got out of Kanye. That's what I always compare Nas to. That's what I always wanted to hear from Kanye. What Common did, what Ye did from Common
With
on
Common.
Go, the B
Bro,
album,
yeah.
not Go, B
Go.
album.
No, it's
Like,
no B.
B.
Yeah.
B.
With Go is the
B
single
B.
from B.
B
Yeah,
and
but it
Finding
was B.
Forever.
Yeah.
Finding
Yes.
Forever, but B special to me. B is
B is
Yeah,
super
yeah, nah,
special.
B is different.
it's a gem. You know what I'm
Definitely.
saying? And like for what he did for him, I always was like, if Ye would give Nas this. Like the song "Still Dreaming" on Hip Hop is this. Some
Yep.
people really, some people
Oh my
really.
gosh.
I was
Yeah.
like,
That's
you give
that's
me
the
an
first
album of
Kanye
that?
produced Nas track. That's the first one that they did like a whole song. Like they did what's the joint
They
on
did We Major.
Late Registration?
We
We
Major.
Major. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but for a Nas project,
yeah,
that was
For
Still
Nas,
Dreaming.
yeah.
Still
It's
Dreaming was the
crazy, like-
first Kanye produced Nas song.
Why
Yeah,
Nas? Why
I
Nas
feel like
music?
the Can't Nobody remix that Kanye did. Is it the same Nas lyrics?
True.
Yep.
True.
I can't find that. Someone
Yep.
find it, let me know. That's my shit.
Yeah, I forgot about that actually.
Yeah, that's my jam
Is it
right there.
crazy? Is it me or do like Nas albums always make you want to take a road trip? Like I just wanted to go on a
bro.
road trip.
Good
Bro.
driving music, yo.
Bro, you got to, because that's where you could really like absorb everything when you just ride.
Yeah.
When you just
And it gotta
internalize
be
and
in
everything.
the evening going into the night. I don't want it in the morning when all
Yeah.
traffic. Give me the evening when it's kind of clear out. It's like, I could just go.
Nah, I'm telling you, when Life is Good came out, me and Jamal took a road trip. I feel like I had it because I was playing it the whole way. Were we playing it?
Yeah,
up there?
we had some of it.
We had some of
We
it.
had some of it. We had a whole thing.
We
Everybody
took a
had the
road
whole
trip.
thing.
Yeah, I think we did, bro, because I felt like that's all I played. We took a road trip from West Palm to New York in the summer of whatever year that was, 2011, 2012, I forget.
Yeah,
And man, like just to like, cause that was, I feel like one of the first times like I got a Nas album and immediately could like just soak it all in. Like I didn't do it incrementally like probably every other album I had. Like that was one that I remember. We just threw it in. We was on the road and we were just taking it all in, and that shit was incredible. Like that shit was so. It was like, I think Crown said it was like 444 before it. Like, you know, it was the blueprint for that, because it was like he had just got a divorce. On the cover, he got the wedding dress in his lap.
Yeah,
You know
the whole,
what I'm saying?
like
who does that? Like
who thinks of that shit?
Who puts their dirty laundry? Literally, he had his wife's dirty laundry
literally
in his lap. How ill is that? How fucking ill is that?
Yeah,
right.
Telling people like Nas is Sinatra.
Yeah.
Yes.
The way people love Sinatra for hundreds of, like, you know, 70 years. Like, your
Definitely.
prime was 40 years, you know what I'm saying, to go in people's mind, but it's like it doesn't matter. Every time he speaks, we there. That's Nas, bro. And he's classy like that. He carries himself. Like, let's talk about him being one of the freshest niggas in the game.
Absolutely.
Like, freshest niggas in the game, dog. Like,
one of the trendsetters.
Come on, man. Like, it's a different type of.
And it's so simple, right? Just clean wears and a fresh haircut, and it's like every single time, like to this day, he's just Nas. Like at the end of the day, he's just like, I'm not gonna lie. You can look. I used to wear a fade with a part. I used to, because it's Nas, nigga. Like it is what it is. Like it is Nas, fam. Like I used to wear a fade with a part. Nas is. He's Langston Hughes, man. He's Frank Sinatra. He's Duke Ellington. He's all this wrapped in one. Like, and he just has primo beats behind him, or Hit Boy beats behind him today. But you know, regardless, like he just is who he is, man.
He's like he's the ghetto Othello. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the fucking, like, you know, Fables by Aesop. Like Nas is. I mean, he's. I mean, I feel like. I was so proud of Kendrick Lamar when he won a Pulitzer Prize for Damn, right? Mm-hmm. But I couldn't help but feel like one of his biggest, and I believe he may have said this, like one of his biggest influences was Nas. Just like
he said it many times.
Just like a Lupe Fiasco, who said when he made Food and Liquor, he was trying to pretty much copy the blueprint of It Was Written. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's profound. Like, when you have so many artists, I mean, and they've done it, they've praised Hov the same way, but I feel like with Jay, like, a lot more people admire Jay for his ambition and for his, I mean, his lyrical prowess. I mean, he's top level, he's A1, but he's not Nas. He's not as introspective and as you know, narrative of a singular linear storyline or a linear concept album. Like what Jay's only concept album in his whole career is American Gangster.
What? And Nas is on
that. And Nas is fucking on that shit, bro.
A classic album, by the way.
I mean, if you want to just, if you want to just, no, it definitely is. It definitely is.
Undeniable.
I just want to put that out there.
He nailed it. One time he did it, he nailed it.
No, one time he did it, he nailed it. But in comparison to Nas been making concept albums his whole fucking career.
Hov
didn't have, like, I feel like the artistic fortitude to do something like that, because his primary focus was the bag. Like, Hov, well, I mean, but he was so savvy and finesse in getting the bag.
I think they got.
I say 444 is
but I think Hov did, and this ain't about Hov, but I think Hov did a lot of Reasonable Doubt is a concept for me. 444 is a concept for me.
Okay, I'll give you that. Right. Okay, I'll give you that.
Even the blueprint.
I'll give you those three.
When I look at the blueprint, I didn't understand why he was calling it at first, but once I figured it out, it was like you were literally giving people the vision for good pop star. This is how it works. You need one of these, you need one of these, you need one of these. Talk a little bit of this, do this, boom. It was a lesson. But you know what I'm saying? I do think Nas was like, it's like, to me, you know who it reminds me of? It's Drake and Kendrick, man. It's the same situation to me. It's the same.
Oh yeah.
It's like
on the third or fourth round as far as hip hop. So no, we probably in the sixth round.
Same thing. You just it's your light skin, your dark skin brother. Like it's just that. That's what it is. Was like, and that's how they. And it works back to back. It works.
You're talking like a philosophy type view of it. Yeah, you're right. I agree with you.
No, for sure. I agree.
And what's
Yeah.
cool about the two, like their history, like what's so great about Jay and Nas is the fact that now you can see how the admiration was always there. You know what I mean? You can see, like
Yeah.
I remember Nas. Okay, Nas did a free concert in Central Park the same year.
Right before it was the
Hov
weekend of the Black
of
Album concert.
the Black Album concert in Madison Square Garden, where Hov sold out the
Yep.
Garden twice, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
on the
that's on
first
the
day
thing,
of
right?
the first day of the concert in Central Park that Nas did the free concert. First of all, there was mad people. There was hella people around the park trying to get in. They almost shut it down. And then once they started going, everyone was chanting for Ether. Everyone wanted Ether. He wanted to fucking play Ether as the intro song. And Nas was like, I got love for that brother. I can't do it. You know what I mean? And that was always special to me because the strength of the two of them being like the ambassadors of New York or the ambassadors of hip hop after Big dying, you know what I'm saying? Like that was so crucial to the culture. And then for them two to like unite the way they did and still have these illustrious careers, I feel like that's what's dope now with, you say, a Kendrick and a Drake and a J. Cole. All of these really special artists can coexist and they can like complement each other. They could fuck with each other. They could jump on each other's tracks and there's no like contention. And there's so much strength in that. And I feel like Nas and Hov, they set that example because rap is competitive.
For sure.
Crown, you know, you're a recording artist. You know what I'm saying? You know the competitive nature. I took a stab at rapping once upon a time in another life, a long ass time ago.
It's boxing.
But it's boxing, it's competition. And
all day.
it's like for them two to be bigger and know that it was so important for the culture to come together and do that. I think it was like really important, you know. And then with the guys who were
let's
like,
talk about like, let's talk about
go
like,
ahead, bro.
Like that. That's what I was saying earlier about like, just this weekend, the content was like talking about Hov and Nas and what they mean carrying to the game. The content of what was dropped this weekend, from Entrepreneur, you know what I'm saying, to this album, like it's filled with game and it's Kings meeting at the table again. It's Kings meeting at the table again. Like, yo, it's like if Malcolm and Martin sat and had a public meeting in front of you. They do this shit every time. You did what I'm saying? And that shit is so like refreshing, dog, because you don't get many artists that age that gracefully.
That's true, bro. That's true.
So
hold on, Crown. Hold on, bro. I got 2 points to that. I just got two, and I want to get your feedback. I want to get everybody's feedback on it. But number one, I don't know, man. I didn't like Entrepreneur that much. I was underwhelmed by it. Hov's verse, of course, Hov is gonna be Hov. He's gonna Hov. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I appreciate the effort. I appreciated the concept, and it was good timing. But even more importantly, bro, what do you feel like about Jay coincidentally always dropping on the day of or the day after?
I think we know that. I think we know Jay-Z is a petty nigga, man. I think we know that. I think we know Jay-Z is a petty nigga, man. He's a hustler. That's the part of the game. Hey, that's what comes with the hustle, man. Like it's always gonna be. That's how you keep people on point. All right, let me see how you feeling today. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I tell you, like that's the part that's like. That's the part. That's brotherly love, nigga. Like that's what people don't see. In other cases, it leads to beef. It leads to real deal war, which they went through. You know what I'm saying? But most people can't get on the other side of it. Today, these niggas really kill each other off or just wipe each other out. It's literally like, I'll see you at the duel. It's a duel. Every time, you going outside? I'll be outside. Every time you come outside, I'll be outside.
That's all it is,
real,
man.
That
is all
it is.
And people who don't understand that, you never did nothing competitive in your life.
Yeah.
Let's just go.
It's like Michael Jordan said, you never won anything. If you can't see it.
You can't never won anything. Until you have gone through them neighborhood wars or hooping, or you've gone through even having a brother, like every time that he do something, I gotta do it better. Whatever it is, like that is just what comes with the territory, dog. Like, and for people to be up in arms and try and make it, and make it a shade room thing and all that. Like, no, nigga, this is classic competition. And I'm sorry, but we have pushed each other our whole careers.
We
Yeah.
have. And it's going to continue. Now,
Let's
it is
talk
Pharrell's record. It is Pharrell's
Go ahead.
record. And Pharrell was the washed part of the record. I'm just going to be
Yes.
honest. Pharrell
Yes.
it was
That's a better way of saying it.
No.
That's a more PC way
Pharrell
of saying
was
it.
the washed
Pharrell,
part
I
of
see
the
you, bro. I know what you were trying to do.
that's my
No, I ain't gonna lie to you. Pharrell's in a happy phase. Like he found
Exactly.
something special with happy, and I think
he's on a different
I
level.
dissected from a musician standpoint, so I see what he was trying to do. He was trying to bring that tone into like an abstract, because the world feel that it's trying to like put a frequency in the world, but it was really long. I wish it was a little bit shorter.
It was too long
Like,
for sure. It was.
I think if it was a lot shorter, it would have like really. But at the same time, I just feel like Nas has soulful music right now, and people want soul.
Yeah,
Yes.
Pharrell is always when the game changes to me, and I love Pharrell. Like that's one of my favorite producers of all time.
He shifts the paradigm.
I don't think we need to shift right now. I think people want to. I think people want to do two things. I think people want to relax, and I think people want to reminisce.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of remembrance coming on. And when you hear Nas' record, it's a lot of nostalgia. It feel good. It feels like being outside. It feel like back in the day. And right now, they went two opposite sides of the spectrum. But I think Nas got this one. We'll see what happens in the next couple of years.
Yeah, man. Well, listen.
No, it's gonna. But I will say this: I don't at all want to hear them on any records together anymore. They are one for three.
Hov and Pharrell?
Hov and Nas. I never.
Really?
They are one. They are one for three for me. BBC is trash. BBC is trash. It was a good concept. I'm sorry.
What's BB? Is that on Magna Carta?
Big boy. Yes. Yeah. Magna
like
Carta,
that
holy.
Oh,
Magna
like
Carta,
that
holy
what is that?
bullshit.
Magna
Carta, holy bullshit. Exactly.
That's the only one that I didn't like though that they've done together. Though. What
Black
other one has been
Republicans.
bad?
You know what Black Republicans is?
Nah, bro. You ain't gonna talk shit about Black
No.
Republicans.
Here's my
bro.
thing with Black
You ain't gonna do
Republicans.
that.
What's the name of the other song? What's the other song?
BBC.
What's that stand for?
It's
Billionaire
on Magna
Boys Club.
Carta, her Holy Grail.
What's it stand for?
Billionaire Boys
Billionaire
Club.
Boys Club.
Oh, I never heard that.
Yeah,
you ain't missing nothing.
Don't worry about it.
It's
You ain't
trash?
missing nothing.
You ain't missing nothing, bro.
You ain't, but
wait, what are y'all saying? You ain't missing nothing to what record?
BBC.
BBC.
Really?
Billionaire Boys Club.
You know what it is. We'll talk
I'm
about
gonna-
it after. But okay, so and then Black Republicans is good, but the original version of Black Republicans is better than what was released on the album. That's my only qualm with it. There's a Flex version that Flex played, like he got in trouble.
Wait, whoa. What? There's an
didn't know-
alternate version of Black Republicans?
Yes, yeah.
No, I never heard that, bro.
Yeah, there's
I need to
more.
hear that.
It probably was
me
more
too.
verses or something.
I never heard
There's
that. You
probably
ever
more
heard that
versions
shit,
of-
Mo?
No, I never heard it. I never heard it.
Flex
heard
played
I
it.
know there's a lot of
The-
other versions there's a lot of other Nas songs that have alternate versions that
Alternate
sound
versions.
better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one of them.
Yeah, like No
and
Ideas
then-
original.
Yeah, No Ideas original.
Exactly.
The original beat that was on the CD originally.
Yeah, with the Barry White.
The original version of
the-
Lord and Slave and the Master. The original
Yeah.
version.
I'm
better.
gonna do my due diligence to find that
Oh, and
original Black Republicans for you.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
please.
I'ma
I
find
need to
it.
hear that.
I'm gonna find that original Black Republic. But I remember when I first heard it, I was like, oh. And then
Is
we
that a
got
lot
Hip Hop
better?
Is Dead. It lyrically, it's a lot. You could tell that they had been waiting to record with each other.
Oh, okay.
Like you could tell.
It's
like,
a
you
whole.
could tell.
They got whole other verses written for it.
Yes, like there's other
Bro.
verses. There's still what it is. There was like, it was 3 verses or 4 verses. It's a long ass song.
Yeah, I gotta hear that.
Yeah, but and then Success is perfect. I think Success
Success is perfect.
it's
Success is
perfect.
flawless.
Like
That's
Success
on
is-
American
and-
Gangster, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say Jay got his ass whooped. I'm not gonna say that because the whole stand of me will not allow me to say that. The whole stand of me will not allow me to say Jay got his ass whooped. What I will say is this: Nas got him that day.
From a lyrical perspective.
I don't know about that. I gotta listen to that one.
Oh, me and my homie was just talking about this from a lyrical perspective. The way Nas structured his lyrics
verse,
or
yes.
whatever. Is he talking? Is that not a jab at? Is that not one of them at Jay? What you think?
On Success?
Go ahead, y'all. Y'all do it.
On Success? You talking about On Success?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like
the way with Nas, how Nas came with it lyrically. Is he not?
I'm sure you. I could
Is he
see
not
that.
lyrically boxing or getting
I could
something off
definitely
his
see that.
chest?
And what's funny about that is I felt like that about Black Republican. I felt like he was going at him on that too.
Yeah.
There's a song, I don't know if y'all ever heard this, but there's a song on one of Ludacris's albums with
Hip-hop.
Nas and Jay. Hip hop.
Hip
Yeah.
hop, yeah.
Oh yeah.
They do have that. They do. I
forgot about that.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going at each other on that one too.
Low key, you know what I think? BBC I probably don't like because they're not going at each other. Like there's no subtle undertones.
That shit's just
like,
corny,
we're
bro.
rich.
Hold on,
That's like that suit and tie type shit.
That's what you know about going out head
right?
rest, maybe. Yeah, when he did the Mace Flow, yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you though.
Shit.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, Hope ate that bitch alive. He ate that bitch alive.
You know, and he did, but it's
alive.
just that wasn't their collab. That's not what I need.
It should have just been a Hove and Pharrell record. I don't feel like it was a Nas.
Yes, exactly. It just wasn't. It wasn't. Nah, I'm good. I don't like them getting along that much. I like them being cousins that love each other, but I'm gonna be jazzed every time I see it at the family reunion. I don't like that much. Like, nah, I don't need that from them. But again,
I think it's just hard. I think that's the crazy part about their styles to me. Like, Nas is so Nas.
thank you.
He's so Nas. Like, he's so Nas. And you know what it is? A lot of people want to get into Nas' world, and he don't invite nobody into his world.
And you can't
He come outside and he say he'll hop on yours, but he don't pull too many people on his. You see what I'm saying? Like, and they keep trying to find that mesh, and it's hard for producers. Yeah, it's hard for producers. But I will say this: like, we talk about best verses. Who had the best verse on the Firm record on this album?
AZ.
Yeah.
I like Mega's verse though.
Yeah.
I say AZ.
Yeah, AZ, because he like
let's talk about it.
Without speeding it up.
AZ the show stealer. AZ like to steal the scene, dog.
Yeah, he does.
Always.
Often.
Yeah.
I mean, he still has that finesse. It's like he never lost it. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't sound dated. He don't sound like an old ass nigga trying to rap. He still sound like the same Anthony Cruz from like '96. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like he just both of them niggas got the fountain of youth. I don't know what fountain they drinking.
I don't know
from,
what they doing, bro. It's something.
They
It's
just
something
have
going
something
on
that's
there.
just timeless about both of them. And I wish AZ would do more. I wish he would just come out and just
Remember the
shit out
Sprite
more
commercial?
regularly.
Yeah.
Remember the Sprite commercial?
Yeah.
That shit was dope, man. Like I remember when I was talking to Donnie years ago, man, and you know, because I'm a big AZ fan, and I remember I had just discovered him at this point, and I was asking like, you know, why did AZ not make it to that level? And it just like, unfortunately, he wasn't just another crisp, clean cut rapper, but he fit the mold too much that Nas and Jay were so big that it just like there wasn't room for a third, and it's like, man. He has a cult following, but dog, I really hope that this album gets people going back to looking at his his catalog and like, oh nah,
his catalog is so crazy. I mean, one of the biggest AZ fans is on this panel right now. Like Jamal, speak on like how just incomparable AZ's catalog is, bro.
But AZ has about he might be between 10 and 12 albums.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, I guess, got missed or overlooked, like in a row. I mean, I couldn't tell you why, but you know, being a fan, being into his music since his verse on Nas's album to his release, Do or Die, and then after that, he celebrated. He fell in line, you know what I'm saying, with releases, and he stayed relevant. But then I don't know exactly what happened. A lot of music, for AZ listeners just went. They didn't know. We didn't know about it. Full albums were coming out
And
back to back, and a lot of people just did. They weren't on people. He wasn't on people's radar, but he's always been known and known and cherished as like just like his flow is just. I tell people like, if I could rap, like I would want to rap like him, and if he could draw, I think I would want him to want to be able to draw like me.
Yeah,
but his style is, just it's it's like I don't know.
One of one.
Yeah, he's a 1 of 1.
Yeah, it's you could, it's just his style is nasty, and he hasn't backpedaled at all, and it's just how when you dissect his lyrics, it's like fun, but it's like ew.
Yeah.
He said that. Like he described in one of his songs like his day. Like he described like his whole day in like one verse, and it was crazy. It was like what?
Yeah.
About getting the sneakers and then
like
go on.
He's what we call a rhymer's rhymer, nigga. Like he's a rapper's rapper.
I was just about to say that he's your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
Yeah.
He's that guy.
I feel like today he will flourish though, just with the availability of streaming, and like we see it with guys like Freddie Gibbs and stuff like that, right? Where you may have such a cult following that you can be as successful as you want, but as long as you have the platform for everybody to receive your music, you'll be fine, and the internet will carry you through. I think if he were to have came out today, or if the internet was available to him today, he would have that kind of cult-like following that we see with Griselda, or we see with the Freddie Gibbs and stuff.
You think he was
That's a good point, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what AZ needs? You know what AZ needs? I'm gonna tell you. AZ should come out and start doing what Gibbs is doing. One-offs with dope producers.
Yep.
Find producers and do one-offs, dog, and just flood. Because the thing is, like that new pocket. That's the thing. Like when I say he's a rapper's rapper, like as core writers, like finding your own voice and carving your own niche in this shit is very, very important. A lot of niggas don't value that shit today. They don't figure it. They just bite everybody niche and mix it up. But when I heard The Firm, this record made me even appreciate the genius of The Firm back in 96. Mm-hmm. Like when I heard this record, I was like, it hit me different because I was like, all of them have these awkward flow pockets that they just figured out a way to blend. Like they're all awkward though. They're all like, even Foxy to me one of the best just flow. Come on, like I don't think no chick could see Foxy flow. You know what I'm saying? And to keep hearing them do that shit, like AZ, like you know how easy it is to style bite? Like, especially when the game don't sound nothing like what you come from. It's very hard to maintain your originality. That's like wine. You see what I'm saying? That shit just ages with time, dog. But I definitely think he needs that project. I want to see that with like I don't know, man, like a Harry Fry. I could see that. I could see an Alchemist. I could see
who produced his he has a song with Freddie Gibbs and Coogee Rap.
AZ
recent? Yeah, it came out not too long ago.
Yeah.
Has like cartoon videos.
I heard.
It's pretty dope.
I heard, I know what you're talking about, Jamal.
It.
But see, my thing about AZ is like I feel like AZ, he's cut from that same cloth. He's cut from the same era as the Jay and the Nas. But just when you in your artist bag and you've been in the game for that long, I feel like A has kind of like an indifference to say like the same sort of trust Nas put in the Hit Boy. I don't see AZ doing that. Just from like, just like you said, like he absolutely could fuck with a producer who has a name for himself right now. But I feel like A might, I don't want to speak for him, but I feel like he might have a little chip on his shoulder. You know?
Why do you think that?
I think that because I think there's always been, like, it's like Earl, you asked me, like, why do you think AZ didn't make it? Like it's like a basketball prospect who don't get drafted to the league. You know what I'm saying? They might have too much pride to play in the D League or even go overseas when there was so much hype put on them, because there was a lot of hype put on AZ on the first 2 albums. Do or Die and Pieces of a Man. There was a lot on him. Like, I remember when I first heard fucking Problems. I had that was my
problems. Oh my
shit.
gosh, bro.
I'm like, why is this not bigger? Like, why is this song not more popular? And just those albums, like, there's so many great albums, bro. Let me tell you something. One of the dopest rap albums in the last 15 years is Asiatic by AZ. From front to back, that album is incredible. I just I did a fucking illustration on my shit, and in my stories, I did the AZ outro. Like, nigga, the fucking album is so hard. The best beat on the fucking album, he don't even rap on. It's the outro. Go and listen to the Asiatic outro.
Oh, yeah.
Jamal, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like, Nas and AZ would have killed, or just AZ by himself would have fucking killed that beat. He didn't even rap on it. It's like that album is so slept on and it's so underrated. He as an artist is so underrated. And it's like, it's just one of those things, man. It's like he should have been way bigger than he was. And I don't know. I personally don't see him like making a resurgence like in that regard in the way he should. But I would love to, you know. I just like, you know what I mean? I feel like he's definitely hands down one of the most underrated.
Definitely underrated.
Say again, bro. What you say?
Definitely underrated. And they got, you know, I mean, I would love to see an album from them, or I guess what could be considered an EP, because that Serious track. Did everyone heard the Serious track with both of them? I know you heard it, Donnie.
With who?
E and Crown. Y'all heard it before?
Once. No, twice. I heard it on Twitter.
On Twitter. Serious with Nas and AZ.
Nah, I've heard that.
There's a couple of throwback.
I check it out though.
Yeah.
Has some crazy beat. Sound like Saturday morning cartoon or something. But it's ill.
I got a Nas song where I dropping jewels on me. I dropping some jewels on me, dog. Like for real. Cause I'm an album guy.
Yeah, me too. But you can tell this is like they were probably just messing around. I was like, you know, toss them a bone or whatever. But that track alone, like to see that you see them at this pace going back and forth, and then you hear them on like the flyers going back and forth. And you hear them on this going back and forth, and it's like, yo, they just give us like seven or 8 tracks, and then you know, I
and
like
see that. And that's why I think it'll work for AZ, because like for him, he won't have to do a 10, 20, well, yeah, maybe 10, but a 15 or 20 track project. Like, lock in with a producer like a Harry Fraud. I would especially like to hear him on a Harry Fraud. That would be incredible. But just lock in with a producer and bang it out. And, you know, you give us 8, like these Gibbs, I think Gibbs really kind of has reset the game in a lot of his Gibbs, and then Griselda, because it's like, you don't have to give us a bunch. You can give us great quality music and we could live with it, especially like Benny, what he did last year with the Plugs I Met. I think it may be 7 or 8 tracks, but it was up for you know, project of the year. Even Bandana, even you look this year with Freddie with Fetish, with Alfredo. And it's like, dog, you can do something like that. And as a legacy artist, I think he deserves to get his flowers as well. I don't feel
like he's going to do that though. And like just to pick,
he don't want it that bad.
He don't want to do it.
I don't think he wants to do it. But going back though, like I think that would be a great route for him. I think if he did drop those EPs, I think that would be a great vehicle for him to just still stay in the scope, you know, of the genre, of the culture, because I feel like he would still have that core fan base. Like, if nothing else, like, you might not, you know, achieve any type of like critical mainstream situation, but at least, you know, your fan base is still fucking with you. And like, I do hope that, you know, him being on this project does kind of, you know, give it a little AZ resurgence, because I feel like he's that important to the culture. But Earl, to your point though, you cannot give Gibbs, this is totally off subject, you cannot give Gibbs and Griselda credit for that EP shit without pointing out that Currency
Yeah, Currency. Yeah,
Started
no,
that
yeah,
shit.
for sure. For
You
sure.
cannot.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I fucking love Currency, yo.
Oh yeah,
And
hey, you already know.
See, Currency, he's the type of nigga, like, he always references AZ in his shit. That's why I love him, because he's a rap nerd. Like, you could tell, like, he's a student of the game.
Yeah.
And, like, he be quoting shit. He'll quote, random obscure AZ lines, or, like, he'll quote, like, random Wu-Tang lines and shit. Like, Currency started that shit. He set that precedent. And even, like, something like that, like, if AZ did just, like, a offhand collab with, like, a Currency, or, like, I think Styles
Oh,
did
if we
that.
got a
And
covert tweet
Styles,
from AZ.
bro, that shit would be fucking crazy. That shit would be crazy. It's like when
We got
Styles
a
started
covert
fucking with Currency. Like, I feel like that, like, gave Styles, like, new life, because Styles is a
Yep.
fucking amazing fucking rapper who is so
Yep.
underrated.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so
He is.
underrated. Styles P is an incredible MC, bro. Like,
Oh,
and
he's
he
the
gets
unicorn.
overshadowed by Jada, because Jada is Jada. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jada Kiss was the
Jada is
crown
Jada.
jewel of the locks.
Yeah.
So it's like AZ gets overshadowed by Nas, because that's when AZ was introduced on Illmatic. So that's another reason I feel like he got a chip
I
on
feel
his
that
shoulder.
way, but I also kind of just feel like I feel like AZ just wasn't. I tell people this all the time, bro. Like, and the times was different, the game was different, but man, as we've learned watching rap over the last 40 years, man, consistency is key, dog. Like, you gotta be outside. You
Especially
gotta stay
now,
outside.
bro.
Like,
You gotta
like you
stay.
gotta really be in people's face. I think a lot of that shit in the 90s was budgets. Like, people, it was
Yeah,
really it was the game.
that too. Yeah, that too.
Like, it was the
He
game.
bounced
It was
around
like
on record labels a lot too.
yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
people was
that's
stuck
true.
up in that paperwork in them offices, bro, and that shit was like trash. Nowadays, like, Wayne, you really want to start, you got to give Wayne that credit for just breaking that mold and saying, fuck what the label talking about, fuck what your label talking about, we just gonna eat. And as for the economic side, it probably wasn't as great, but for the culture and for saving Wayne from being an AZ, Wayne from being that type of artist where you had this short-lived run at Cash Money, and then niggas wrote you off after everybody left. Like, you had to jump out on that porch and be like, nah, nigga, you gonna see me. And I feel like a lot of rappers, unfortunately, in the 90s, it was so hectic. Can you imagine? Like, we talk about today, it's one, two superstars in rap at a time. You see what I'm saying? Back then, nigga, it's Biggie to your right, it's Nas to your left, it's Hove, it's Snoop over here, it's Dre, it's Busta Rhymes, it's Q-Tip, nigga. It's like, you better get out here. And your label playing with you.
Oh, and Underground is Outkast at that time.
Come on, man. It's so much happening. So it's like, and
that's real.
You playing with the label because you don't, I just think that's the game, bro. And I feel like, to a fault, that was Nas' story too. When we talk about some of them duds with Nas that we feel like he didn't really I'm like, dog, Nas was battling a lot of that internal shit. Like, you was trying to get in them doors and they wouldn't let them work. I felt like nigga was going to be really
lot of
bigger.
Go ahead. My bad.
No, I was saying I feel like nigga was going to be a lot bigger had they not fucked that rollout. Like, it was really piercing. It was kind of to Pimp a Butterfly. It was kind of where he was going to go into that mode, and that's what I was expecting. And then it's like they kept fucking with the album, dog. Like,
right.
Yeah, like Nas had a lot of because he still has more lost tapes, if I'm not mistaken. Like enough, I think like
he say he got
4 or
another
5, right?
Yeah, he said he
they
had
were like,
another one.
The label started, chopping down or, getting on top of him about what to release, and he still had albums he had to release, part of his contract. And AZ, I know AZ was like jumping around from label to label, and I'm pretty sure that like put something on like a whole, like, it just probably messed up his creative flow or whatever. It made it less comfortable. Cause even Do or Die Part 2 been supposed to come out like 5 years ago. Maybe
right. I know it was after Asiatic for sure.
Yeah, and he had the Celebration album that he's promoting it on there, and that came out like a minute ago.
Never came out.
Yeah, Do or Die 2 is still being pushed. He's still advertising it to come out, but it's almost supposed to come out like I think
crazy,
10 years ago. But
that's crazy.
Because I feel like they do a lot. behind the labels that they dealing
Yeah,
with, but
and
they'll never like, know.
and that's the beauty. Like that's the beauty of this era now. This is what I want everybody to close with, like where we are now and like where we're going, because it's like Jamal, you were touching earlier on how the feeling is different, that it's not physical, tangible. We in a different era. It's just a fact. The
Yeah,
internet
yeah, definitely told it.
and social media, has made the whole paradigm shift. But at the same token, there's something for everybody, and there's room for AZ to
Oh
come
yeah.
and do something. There's room for Nas to put out a project like this and it be extremely well received, to the point where, like Crown was saying, it's on our timelines. Like people are talking about it, and there's room for all of our favorite artists growing up, whether they be relevant still or not, to put projects out. So my question to y'all is like, okay, Nas put out an album, like as fans we're thoroughly, impressed and just fucking with heavily. And the game is the game. It's what it is. People are putting out projects. Travis Scott is making videos on Fortnite. You know what I'm saying? Like people are dropping surprise albums, concept albums. Beyonce and Jay put a fucking album out on Disney Plus. It's like, where does the genre go from this point, from 2020 moving forward? Like we talked about what we want to hear next from Nas. I was saying, like, you know what I'm saying? Fuck, what is Ross's producers?
Justice
me.
League.
Justice League,
Mm-hmm.
which I think would be crazy. But like, where do we go from here? Like, what do y'all see as far as like just the future of the culture right now?
I see more.
Anybody chime in?
I see more, just more of it, but also see it like becoming anything and everything, which means less of what we are used to. Because right now you're dealing with we got like 3 generations like at a crosshair basically. You got the older cats, the younger cats, and then like there's like an open
the middle
space.
child,
Like
like
yeah,
Cole said.
It's like a gap, a generation gap almost.
That's how I feel like we are, bro. We the middle child.
Yeah, and it's like you got some that's still like pushing for the what we know, and it's hard for us to let go. My '90s niggas. That's us. That's me. That's Donnie. But I'm still learning.
Absolutely.
I'm like learning how to listen to.
Yo, that song is so ill. Like for my Trapped in the '90s niggas. What is that?
Yeah.
That's Locomotive.
That's Locomotive. That's Locomotive. Yeah.
As y'all can see, I'm very high on Life is Good.
For my Trapped in the '90s niggas. Yes. But no, that's a great album.
It's like
that's a great album.
But it's to me it's very real. It's a very real thing, and I just think that you'll start seeing more and more like big production type stuff, like this Beyonce project. With Jay-Z seeing it, a lot of cats that a lot of rappers that are in good positions now will start looking towards being a part of projects like that. But then you'll still have just the ones that are still kind of critical, trying to make sure that like push the culture forward, but don't water it down to a point where it's not the culture anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Trying to keep those keep what made it what it is.
Keep the foundation intact. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff that's being lost right before our eyes.
Yep.
Because before you know it, we don't want to get to the point where like we have no. It's just anything and everything, and it's not at all what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Right. Not to hate on it, but because it has the power to really become whatever we want it to become or whatever it is. But certain principles you don't want to lose in it. I guess creative aspects.
Yep. I think for music, really for hip hop culture in general, I think what we're gonna see is more use of technology going forward. Even more so now than we do before, and more made to order music as well. And what I mean by that is, I think artists are finding out, really the world is finding out where money actually is really utilized properly. So what you're going to start to see, in my opinion, is fan bases being almost exclusive consumers of artists' work. I don't think that we're going to see a lot of wasted development, a lot of wasted resources. And that's good, right? Because what happens is Nas gets to record this album and put it out, and it's streamed and played and played and played. And that is direct consumer to a direct artist to consumer networking. But I think even more so now, we're going to see that on their own platforms. Yeah, sure, you'll have releases on Tidal, Spotify, iTunes, this, that, and the third. But I do think that there is, well, Apple Music now. But I do think that there's going to be a surge of, and this isn't everything. I mean, shoot, if we keeping it real, I mean, if we're just going to be honest here, even the women on Instagram now, you can just directly pay them instead of them doing what they did after 20 years ago and stuff. Like, there's no middleman anymore. So now I think the middleman is completely obsolete within the next 10 years. Or he's not needed as much anymore. And I think that goes for merchandise. I think we're even seeing it now. Like what we're doing over at Shop Open is a lot of direct to consumer hit, right? So access to being a part of fan clubs and things of that nature that can actually get you direct to consumer exclusivity. That's where the money's made. So once you're cutting out the middleman, at this point, I can do passion projects, and my core fan base, no matter what, I know that I have consistent income coming from them. And that's going to drive me as an artist to give them the best product possible. So I don't have to waste money on product being allocated and just sitting on shelves as it did 20 years ago. Or for that matter, being passed up in today's world of not being consumed. I think, again, when we talk about the currencies, you look at what currency did. Currency kind of is the blueprint for this whole market in general. So, Donnie, you're right. Even though I was giving props to them, me being a currency fan, I should have said that too. Like, I know because I consume straight from them. That whole jet life movement, this, that, and the third. Yeah, you may not have liked the music, but the reality of it is the reason why a currency can afford to have his Bentleys next to the wall, since we got these big major things, because I'm direct to consumer. So I don't have people touching my money. It comes straight to me. Maybe distribution here and there, but overall, I don't have to. So I think the business of it, and that ends up, the business, once it's not dirty and tainted and doesn't taint your artistic expressions and your artistic integrity, what it does is make you want to put out your best work going forward. So I see that as the future of
shout out to Currency too, my nigga. Shout out to
for
Currency.
For sure.
That's my nigga.
He definitely deserves
That's my nigga.
I fuck with Currency.
I love Currency. But I see you over there pacing, bro. I know you got something to chime in on, bro.
I was just like, listen. I think those are both great points, like especially from the business.
Yeah, that was a great point, by the way, Earl. That was a very good point you made.
I think from a musical standpoint, it's gonna go back to soul food. I think music.
I would love that, bro. Oh man, I would love a soul food.
Like I think it's about to get really great, and I think it's gonna be refined.
That's how I fell in love with Kanye, man, because of that soulful shit, bro.
It's a different type of soul, though. So speaking from like us having a veteran ear, a seasoned ear, you know what I'm saying? I see what's happening, and it's a new age revolution. It's some dope shit that's coming. You see what I'm saying? Some of these kids is figuring it out. And to be honest with you, a lot of the younger cats, they're more into rapping now than ever. Like Juice WRLD, that kid, he was a real student. And you didn't know it because he was so different.
Yeah,
some kid out there is going to figure out how to make that different shit. Yeah. One of those kids are going to figure out how to, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're figuring a new sound out. But for the core, I think you're finna start hearing real life stories. I think you're finna start hearing I think this the death of the media year. I'm gonna be honest with you, like the production is getting canceled, it's getting tore down, and that's kind of what we were talking about with the other records. Like earlier today, like some of them records are really bright, it's finna get muddy. The world is muddy. The streets is muddy. Everybody outside is weird. You see what I'm saying? And this is a perfect time for some new talent. I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you some perfect time for new talent. I think it's a perfect time for new sounds.
Right.
I think that's why Hit Boy is like he's right on the money. Like I say, the
Absolutely.
bag just went up. He's
Yeah,
on
for
the
sure.
money. And I think the piggyback off X is definitely gonna get a lot more business savvy. Like that's the narrative. As black men, we got to step up and provide business. And I think hip hop is
Yes.
about to go through another renaissance. Like when it was the b-boy era and the spray paint cats and you know your public enemies. I think that's what's gonna happen in the culture too. I feel like entrepreneurs are gonna make a real big jump. You know what I'm saying? Painters, shirt designers, fashion designers. You finna get a growth of that as the culture of hip hop. And then you're finna start getting the soundtracks for that music. Because black people, one thing we do when shit go crazy, boy, we gonna goddamn make a song. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
Every time when shit start going crazy, we gonna go create some shit.
I
And I
mean,
think,
ain't that how hip hop was birthed? Out of some crazy
yeah,
shit.
Real
You know what I'm
shit.
yeah.
saying?
And I think it's some crazy shit finna push some music. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm working on something that I'm hoping to push the culture forward. I'm
That's what's up, bro.
I'm coming with something that I think is gonna
Well,
carve out a little
listen,
bit of space.
when your project drops, man, I want to have you back on, man, to promote it, bro.
I appreciate it. I would
When
love
your
to
next
come back.
joint drop, man, come back on, man, and give it to the people. You know what I'm saying?
All right, say no more. Let's chop it up because, like, y'all, this setting is dope. I appreciate y'all having me and just being
Oh
able
yeah,
to talk hip hop.
absolutely.
Like, you know how hard it is to talk hip hop these days. It's a lot of
Yeah.
crazy opinions out there.
Oh yeah, for
So,
sure, for sure. No, I
got something like
appreciate
my
y'all being on, man. I definitely appreciate this, man. And this is something that like I live for, you know, to just chop it up, build, you know what I'm saying, with some solid brothers who can speak intelligently on whatever the topic is. You know what I'm saying? Tonight just happens to be hip hop, happens to be Nas, and I think it's just a great moment, you know, because it comes at such a crucial time. Somebody was saying it earlier, I think it was Jamal, about just the timing of him dropping this and everything that's going on. It's a nice escape, you know. It's nice to just vibe out to this shit and be like happy with, you know, the fact that one of our favorite artists, one of the most beloved artists in the genre, is still putting out amazing music at almost 50, you know. Been in the game almost 30 years, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a great thing. And that's what I see for hip hop. As much as I see the digital revolution, as much as I see the entrepreneurial revolution, shout out to Nip, rest in peace Nip, because I feel like Nip definitely gave us the blueprint for that. I feel like his influence and the gems that he left us are inspiring the culture in so many ways entrepreneurially. You know, Hove been doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like I definitely feel that. But as much as I feel that, I feel like the artists who we hold near and dear to our hearts, like, you know, even one day, like, you know, the artists who are, I guess, the top tier rappers right now who we love, whether it be Kendrick, Cole, Drake, whoever, you know what I'm saying, Currency, like they're gonna have their like twilight era, you know what I'm saying? But now more than ever, I feel like there's a lane. Like did Nori put out an album last year or the year
Last year.
before?
Yep.
That shit was dope. Jim Jones just dropped some shit that was hard. You know what I'm saying? Jim Jones was hard on the new
Jim had a
Currency
top
shit.
10 record last year.
Right.
He had a
Jim
top 10
Jones
album last year.
Jim Jones fucking song on Currency shit is hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lane for niggas now who before would have just been obsolete. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lane, and that's important because all of these different perspectives, all of these different artistries, all of these different interpretations of the art can all thrive and flourish, you know, simultaneously. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Like Crown, you can do a project, and like as far as like the direct to consumer, you know, you can give your fan base what, you know, they expect from you, and you know you're gonna have a core solid following, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you still have the whole rest of fucking social media, the internet, with no filters. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can go as far as you want to take this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the art is one thing, but then the marketing is a whole other thing. And I love your marketing, dude. Like your marketing is different, and I feel like it's gonna blow, bro. Just keep going because it's not the typical. You know what I mean? Like it's not. It's different immediately when you see it, and it makes you like wanna see what you're about. And that's what that's what marketing yourself as an artist of any discipline is really about. It's like you got to get that thing that grabs people and connects with them. And in an age when we're being just shown image after image, like just it's coming at us a mile a minute, you want to be a visual disruptor. So if your shit pops up amongst all the other bullshit and yours stands out, it's going to capture them. You know what I'm saying? And you're definitely doing that, bro. So keep going, man.
Thank you, bro. That's hey, to even hear that mean a lot for us. Cause from a creative standpoint, you know, we testing the water, you know, and we push it. And you know, I feel like for creators for a while, that's what's dope. When you saying what's next, for a long time we've been all sitting in the cut like, we putting something but the game just been like, nah. I think the fucking levees broke this year. Like, I think it's gonna be a free fucking for all, and that's what Shop Open is about. It's about entrepreneurship. It's like, yo, stamp your shit. I just want to put a stamp in the world. When you say leave your mark, I just want to come put this stamp here.
Yes, sir.
Like, y'all called us the lost generation. We was lost at the bank, nigga. That's what you called us. We was lost at the bank. You deal what I'm saying? Like, we gotta eat because we gotta rebuild the economy. It's tore up now. And the truth of the matter is the king and you tired of that 9 to 5. The queen and you tired of that 9 to 5. You feel what I'm saying? So everybody, I'm telling you, like, people been in the house for years. I mean, for a whole year. It's 7-8 months. We really lost all of 2020. Niggas finna go get that bag next year.
Yes, sir.
Niggas finna jump out that house, go get that bag in 2021, dog. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like the music is gonna be takeover music. It's gonna be soulful music. It's gonna be some real ass music. I think the women coming with it.
Yeah, the women definitely.
Definitely. I think they're gonna take that bitch over. But it's nice.
Definitely, bro.
I appreciate the love though.
Oh, absolutely, man. And what you're saying is absolutely on point, man. It's it's an open air market now. And if you continue, it's about consistency. And we all respectively are artists trying to put our mark on the world pretty much. And, you know, Jamal, it's the same thing. Your consistency, your style of art. Y'all got to go check my brother out at Visualist 412. Everybody gonna drop their shit, but I mean, me and Jamal, I mean, this is my brother. We've been rocking together, you know, almost 2 decades, you know what I'm saying? And we connected based on our art, you know? And I think now more than ever, like you said, Crown, now is like, it's a gold rush almost, you know, because with the internet, I mean, yeah, you got to pay to play in some aspects, but it's really no limit. It's really your creativity is what's going to dictate. Your creativity and your consistency is what's going to dictate how far you go. You know what I mean? Hands down. And it's like Earl with the podcast, bro. Like, I'm so proud of you for staying consistent and for just banging out content, bro. You got content. And you can build on that. You know what I'm saying? You can build on that, bro. Jamal, I mean, bro, I tell you this shit all the time, dude. You have your fine art, photography, graphic design. You have your murals, your street art. Just everything you do is endless, bro. And
appreciate that.
The shit is just, it's incredible and it's different. Like it's you. It's genuine. The reason why we came on this fucking podcast was to talk about Nas, a genuine fucking artist who has survived the times due to his consistency and his honesty as a creative person. And I think we should all like walk away from this, not this podcast necessarily, but his album and be inspired as creators. Like, we're not just fans. Like, we're all respectively creating our own platforms, our own foundations, our own creative empires, if you will. And I think his success with this album, for me, it speaks volumes for me, man, because I'm pushing 40. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was in and out of a couple different lanes, but now I feel like I really found like my lane, and I'm inspired. But as a creative person, as all of you well know, you gotta find inspiration in different places. You know what I mean?
Right.
You gotta pull it out of different places to keep you going, to keep you, you know what I'm saying, juiced up, and you know what I mean, just ready. And I think this project, it definitely inspires me in that way. And the future, even with every fucking thing we got going on the pandemic, to this fucking vote, to race relations in this country, like, as creatives, we have a big responsibility. And a project like this, that shit like gives me hope. Not to sound corny, but it really genuinely gives me hope. Like, for the genre that I love, Earl, you said it best, man. Hip hop is the most beautiful art form, and I agree with you because there's so many facets to it. And an album like this, it encompasses all of those things, you know. So I think moving forward, this is something. This is like light. This is a little piece of light to move forward when we living in such dark times. You know, that's just it's just my little take on it. You know what I mean? But
we appreciate you, Donnie.
I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all jumping on, man, for real, man. But I know it's late. I appreciate y'all rocking with me this late.
This was worth it.
We gotta do this again, man.
I appreciate you having me, bro. Right.
Oh man, I appreciate you being on.
Seriously.
I appreciate you brothers being on, man. For real, it means the world to me. You know what I mean? But on that note, I want everybody, starting with you, Earl, drop your links, how people can connect with you, what you got coming, and you know, whatever you want to just let people know about.
For sure. Well, you know, it's Earl Got Soul on everything. I'm at Earl Got Soul on everything. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook's just for family, pretty much. And of course, my podcast, Guessing from the Stands. We are approaching our 100th episode, so that is major.
Salute.
And I am a brand ambassador for Shop Forever Open. Proud to be it too, man. It is something that we've been working at and been banging that rock to get water to come out for years, and it's coming. So I mean, for sure, we have a lot of content coming, a lot of things that are gonna push the culture forward in the right way, using our platform properly, and having the discipline to do that as well. And I guess, shoot, man, Donnie, I'll give you an exclusive since we're on here. I am launching my own multimedia network towards the end of the year, which is gonna be based on podcast and as well as media videos. Pretty much going to be doing a lot of introspective things with sports and other facets. But yeah, that's man, that's coming soon. But it's
keep building, man.
Focused on podcast, man. So I'll be launching that very, very soon, getting a lot of things going. So have more details after episode 100. But yeah, man, it's powerful, bro. A lot of things
looking
going
forward
on.
to that, man.
I appreciate it for sure,
man. Big congrats,
thank you for
man.
the inspiration, my OG, man. For sure.
Oh man, that's all I want to do. Like the
My
hat
OG,
says, bro.
man.
I just want to inspire, bro. That's all I want to do, man.
No, you know, I'm always gonna give you your flowers every time, man. Like, you know, from
That's
just
love, bro.
hanging around the neighborhood and shit like that, man. Like, I got inspired to jump off the porch and do creative things with my life through you and through Crown. Like, I mean, me and Crown grew up together, and you know what I'm saying. You know, we always, for some reason, and we've had other guys around us, this, that, and the third, but it's always been me and Crown for some reason. You know,
that's dope, man.
Consistency, man. Like I would, he knows that if the ship is sinking, I'm going down with him. So you know, we're gonna fight to keep that shit up.
Y'all brothers, man. Y'all brothers. That's
for sure. Yeah, it's deeper than that. So you know,
that's
appreciate
up,
the inspiration from my fellow brothers, man.
Absolutely, man. Crown, let us know, man. Let us know what you got going on, man. Drop all your links, bro.
Yeah, man. You can find me on everything at Who Is Crown. And then tap in with the movement, man. Shop Open, www.shopforeveropen.com. Or you can text me. I'm gonna give it out slow. 386-200-4457. Tap in with me, man. Join the clientele. Get all the exclusive content with us. Check out some of these videos. You know, we got the B-sides thing going on right now. So if you ain't seen it, man, check out B-sides series. And that's all. That's about it, man.
Peace. That's love, man. That's love, bro. Remember, man, when your next joint drops, man, link with me, man. Let's
Coming back through.
tap in, man. Yeah, man. Swing back
Yeah.
through,
We're
man.
gonna
Let
get
them
that
know
set
what's
up.
up, man.
Definitely
I
gonna
wanna
get that set up.
I wanna, premiere some of your music, you know what I mean? Because with this thing, I just jumped out there and just wanted to just, do something to promote,
Yeah.
other, black entrepreneurs who are doing, things that I admire. And I want it to be a mutually beneficial kind of thing. So yeah, I would love for you to bring your content through, man, for sure. I
Thank you.
appreciate you
I
being
will.
on,
Definitely
bro.
gonna spin the block.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Jamal, let them know, man. Let them know how they can connect with the visualists.
You can reach me at Visualist412 and also at Visualist Art and also at Visualist Depiction. All dealing with I guess myself and the various mediums I deal with, from photography to custom paintings, art, anything involved in art. You can DM me pretty much at any one of those three, and discuss. If you looking to get any type of custom made artwork done, we can work it out, get it done. Photo shoots, personal photo shoots. I'm actually looking for muses right now. So yeah, you hit me up with those IG addresses. You can also check out my store at visualiststore.com, and also on Facebook, Jamal Clark. You hit me up at any one of those outlets. If you check out the work, feel free to leave a message, like, comment, any type of interaction. Let me know what you thinking about what you seeing. I want to thank
Definitely,
Donnie
bro.
again, having myself and all the other creatives on this show. He's
Nah, man, thank you, bro. Thank you for
really
being on, man. We
for having
appreciate your
this.
perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like Earl, like how you and Crown are. Jamal's my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like Jamal is literally, my brother. We've been, he's been my right hand man. You know what I'm saying? And then from a creative standpoint, when you can link with somebody creatively, because as creative people, a lot of people don't understand the way we think, the way our minds work, the way we see the world. So when you
Yeah,
can connect with somebody on that level, man, that's priceless. And as black men, our closest friends are a reflection of us. I mean, that's anybody, but with us, it's like sacred. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
When you can connect and stay solid with a solid individual, man, that's important. And yeah, definitely please check out, what I'm saying, the visualist vast portfolio, vast body of work, man. Work is incredible and it's only getting better. So we appreciate you being on, my brother. Y'all can follow me at Don is Dope. Follow my brand at DopeOnes Official. Shop with us, www.thedopeones.com. Tomorrow, in honor of Kobe Bryant's birthday, I'm gonna be featuring just the Kobe pieces. Earl and I were speaking about it on the first segment of the podcast. Just the importance of Kobe Bryant and what he means to the culture. I mean, Kobe influenced rap culture too. Kobe had a couple songs. You know what I'm saying? Just an important individual.
Yeah,
I'm
he
not trying to
did.
play. I'm not trying to play Kobe at all. Like,
No, I
even though,
forgot.
what I'm saying, Kobe was influenced by rap culture too, man. And he's an important part of just black culture in general, beyond just entertainment and sports. Just as a figure, as a man, as a stand-up man who inspired people. He's another one. I mean, and he transitioned from sports to creative. Like he won a fucking Oscar. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. So we're gonna honor Kobe tomorrow and the day after. So check out what we got going on. But yeah, no, I truly appreciate y'all brothers for jumping on. We got to do this again soon.
Sure.
Definitely,
Sure.
bro. All right, y'all.
Let's do it.
Y'all have a good evening, man. Salute, man. Appreciate
Peace and
y'all.
love.
Peace and love.
Peace.
Peace.